borderline would, because I know the Chiefs are going to be in this game, and I'm sure it sucks for the rest of the AFC because you're one of 15 teams, and there's only one spot in the AFC title game available every year. Only one available in the AFC title game every year, because the other team will be the Chiefs, which means if you face them in the wild card round, well, your season's already over. If you face them in the divisional round, well, your season's already over. And then you have to inevitably kind of get over this hump if you're, the Buffalo Bills, who are staring down the barrel of what has been a very difficult run against the Chiefs in the playoffs, I'd say. That's probably putting it pretty mildly, don't you think?
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, this has been the team that has prevented Josh Allen from having multiple rings at this point. I truly believe that. Like, I think he would have multiple rings. I think Josh Allen,
at least
because of how well he's played in the playoffs overall, but he's ran into Mahomes. I actually think he'd have multiple. I for sure think he would have one, but that's how this whole thing works. And who was it? Ross Tucker last week that was talking about, like, if it was NIL, if it was college football, like, those guys would have transferred to the other league. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he'd been like, I'm not playing in the SEC anymore. I'm going to go see what life is like in the Big Ten, or I'm going to go see what life is like in the Big 12 this time around, because it is getting to the point of ludicrous. But there has been, I will say, as we inch closer to, like you said, the game on Sunday, I think there has been one very obvious prevailing theme in the playoffs this year, and I think that Andy Reid ideally has been taking notice, which is the level of aggression that teams are showing in the playoffs, especially in the divisional round, has been so high. Andy is going to have to get close to matching it, Gold. You can't possibly go into a playoff game right now thinking you'll just stick by a conservative nature. And look, Andy ranked in the bottom 10 in attempts this year on fourth down. You and I both know that they're not an overly aggressive bunch. Andy Reid yesterday was asked about aggression and said, within reason. And you're like, oh, no, I don't like hearing that. Within reason. I think when he said, like, maybe that wasn't the exact phrasing he used, but you get the point. And you're just like, look at what Washington's doing. They out-Lions the Lions.
They did.
In that situation. You can buy so many points. Look at Josh Allen and the success that they have on fourth and short often. The Chiefs are good at fourth and short. I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying is, due to the success, why wouldn't you want to do it more?
So they're top 5 in conversion percentage on fourth downs. But as you were alluding to, they're towards the bottom half of the league, 21st-ish. And attempts on fourth down. But they're 5th in the league in percentage, right? The Lions have gone for it way more. The Bills have gone for it around the same amount of time. The Lions got the discussion all year. The Commanders have gotten this discussion. But the Chiefs, percentage-wise, were barely behind Detroit in actual conversion rate, which is why what you're alluding to is just like, hey, they should go for it more. I do think, even though Andy said within reason, I do think he has shown throughout this dynasty run in the postseason he
ratchets it up.
Like, he absolutely is more likely. Not to the extreme of, hey, every 4th and 1 wherever we are on the field.
At least on one of those with the Commanders. Went for it.
But he's definitely a little more aggressive. I will give him credit on that, no doubt, in the AFC title game, especially against this opponent, Buffalo. The same way we discussed how Sean McDermott has realized, go back to the Week 11 game, I think 3 years ago with the way the game was playing out, he would not have gone for the fourth down with Josh Allen, which ultimately, sealed the deal, led to a touchdown, but sealed the deal. He might have just kicked the field goal with Tyler Bass, but he knows better. I think Andy Reid also knows against Buffalo, who converts 76% of all fourth downs.
That's a crazy high number.
He knows that they have to be, far more aggressive against them. I think both coaches heading in, they've certainly been here enough, but even know each other enough. And what is on the line? We all know, I think, in Kansas City, Josh Allen's going to play at an extremely high level Sunday. They clearly know, Patrick Mahomes, you don't give him the ball back with 13 seconds or he's going to get you.
And we didn't find out, because this is still one of the big unknowns with the level of aggression is, we didn't find out what would happen if it's 4th and 3 and it's a 52-yard kick. Like, no kick was of the length that we had to and short down, because that's truly where I want it. Like, if I'm trying to isolate the point where I want Andy to do it, it's inside the 5-yard line and on that fringe field goal range, while Harrison Butker's range is at least still semi in question.
Do you feel better about him? I know they weren't long kicks, but do you feel better? Like, on one hand, you had Fairbairn, who was missing kicks, an extra point in a kick. Butker, you didn't have a 55-yard attempt.
I feel about the same. I don't feel worse, which is actually kind of a nice thing. I feel about the same. I still need to,
I feel better. It doesn't take much.
50-yard, that's fair. I mean, Harrison Butker's earned a lot of trust when it comes to the kicking game. If it's 51 yards, I still want to see it. Justin Tucker's earned it over his career, and he's missed a lot this year, over 40, and he won't miss any more now because his team's eliminated from the playoffs.
He made his kicks in the game.
He did. The other people were making mistakes in that game. But it's a 52-yard kick, and it's 4th and 2. I'd rather you just go for it. It's 4th and goal, and you're at the 3. Go for it. But he's kicked in those situations in the regular season this year multiple times. There was a time you and I remember it was inside the 10. He went for a 4th and 2 at the 8, converted. Then he had a 4th and goal from the 2 and kicked it. And I was like, but why? Those are the same. And he claims because they had trouble at the goal line, they didn't feel the same. Maybe the space to operate, maybe everything in between. And some of this comes down to the sneak stuff. Because part of the reason that Buffalo is successful 78% of the time or 76% of the time is because they have the sneak. And I love to see them go for the 4th down. The 4th and 1 in the game last week. But watching Patrick Mahomes line up in shotgun, I was like, oh, okay. I don't love that. It just takes so long for plays to develop. Kareem Hunt got it. He's very good in short yardage and good at squeezing between the line. But it's just kind of a nerve-wracking situation. But I want more of it. And I just think that the league is all heading that way even more in the playoffs. That's all.
They are. I still think Andy has a good feel for it in the playoffs, more so than the regular season.
I think he does it by feel, though,
Yeah, which, not
by
in the book, first half. We've seen this play out, though, on the first drive of the game Sunday, let's say, against Buffalo. If they're moving the ball, it's opening drive of the game. They seem to have a nice flow, but all of a sudden it's 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, and they're at their opponent's 40. He has shown that he'll go for it in that spot and not just punt on the opening drive. He has done that. And I can't remember in week 11. I have to go back and look how many 4th downs did the Chiefs attempt and what were the situation. But there's the balance of, hey, just get some points on the board. It all is time and situation. It's not, you can't have a blanket statement either way. If
it's going to put you up 2 scores in the 4th quarter and it's a 49-yarder, I'm probably more inclined to take the points. Or if let's just say it's going to put you, and it's a chip shot. You're at the 6-yard line, Gold, and it's 4th and 1, but there's 6 minutes to go and it's going to put you up 10. I'll probably lean towards the kick there, even though I'm a go most of the time. For instance, we look at these things all the time. In the game, I think it came up in the Bills-Ravens game. We were talking about whether or not they should have gone for 2 or kicked a field goal. You know me. I'm almost always team go for it. I probably would have just kicked a field goal there when they kicked it in that Bills-Ravens game because it felt like sometimes it can feel right. But I think Andy thinks about kicking and punting first and then tries to talk himself into going for it, not the other way around. I think Dan Campbell's got to talk himself off of it, right? His initial instinct is go. Or, in this case, I guess Quinn, because of how aggressive he's been, or how aggressive Sean McDermott's been.
And if you're Dan Quinn, though, you're converting for the Commanders 81% of 4th downs.
That's also a nutty number
this year. I mean, that's crazy. 81% of them, and that's not for a team that doesn't go for 81% conversion rate, and they have the 8th most 4th downs per game. So they're converting at a high clip, and they're top 10 in the league. Whereas it was Detroit was top 5 in conversion, right where the Chiefs were at, but they had the 4th most. And then there's bad teams that just go for 4th down because they're down.
Yeah, I don't care how many times Jacksonville.
Cleveland,
they're high on the list.
Cleveland went for more 4th downs than anybody per game. Well, they were trailing by double digits quite a bit. Chicago went for the 2nd most. The Giants went for the 3rd most. All 3 of them are picking in the top 5 of the draft, I believe, something like that.
Shouldn't Andy feel even better about going for it now based on the way the defense is playing lately? The better the defense plays, doesn't it make it
the reverse of it?
Yeah, I know you say that, but exactly, Drew. I think Andy views it the opposite way. Because I trust my defense.
They're not going to get points against us.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely. I actually don't hate that. I know you and I differ on that. Yeah. I
don't agree with Andy on that, but yeah.
There's definitely some logic to both ends of that. I think you can frame it however you want and make a case. Hey, my defense is going great. Why do I need to be ultra aggressive? And then you can definitely say, well, your defense is playing great. This is the time to be aggressive. And everybody has a different school of thought on that.
Well, the ultimate thing as well, not that he doesn't trust Patrick Mahomes, but you have Patrick Mahomes. It's not like you're dealing with Russell Wilson and it's it's a 4th and 2. Do I trust Russell Wilson? You have Patrick Mahomes to convert a 4th and 5 from the 22-yard line to keep a drive going. Trust Patrick Mahomes to get the job done as well as your defense because you have the best quarterback in the league.
Truthfully, what I think part of what's happening and part of the reason Washington is going for it more and the Bills and some of these other teams we've seen Adam McVay and the Eagles have always been kind of aggressive in that way is I think what it is it's changing teams' play calling a lot on 3rd down. I see a lot of 3rd and 7s that are turning into 4th and 1s and 2s because – that used to be a win for your defense. You're essentially saying, well, they're coming up short of the sticks, so we're good here. And they're saying, well, I don't really care, honestly. Just as long as I'm within a yard or two, I'm going for this anyway. So, like, whether we get to the sticks or not is no longer important to me on third down, which makes you harder to defend.
Well, that's
because the old adage of just, like, keep them in front of you doesn't work the same. And I think that some teams are taking advantage of that in a really good way, where they're kind of forcing these teams into no-win spots where 3rd and 7 used to kind of mean that's going to probably be a punt. And if they're getting it to 4th and 2, they're just getting 4 or 5 yards. They're saying, good enough, I'll go for it.
The play caller knows what his coach is going to allow him to do, and that's the third down play call has been adjusted. I do think, though, it's hard to take too much issue, if any at all, with the 4th down strategy. The Chiefs also have won, 17 one-score games, something like that. What are we up to now when we discuss this team? Over the last, whatever. It's been
78 one-score game. I don't remember.
17 straight or something like that.
Something.
16, 17 straight.
That Broncos game wasn't a one-score game.
No, it was not. So they,
technically Buffalo wasn't either, but
so they've made the play, made the right decision when it matters most. It's hard not to trust that is continue. Our championship coverage brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer partner of your Kansas City Chiefs. You guys can, of course, hit us up on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. We'll be joined by our VNFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantonio, here in about 20 minutes or so. We'll check in. I believe he's in Orlando. We'll see what's up. I don't know if you think he's got the fast pass and everything at Disney World. Do you think he just skips the line?
I mean, I'll be honest, if I made a big leaguer salary, I'd probably pay for the fast pass.
I feel like you got to pay for that.
I'm trying to skip lines. I might pay for it, and I'm a poor. I
think you kind of have to if you go. Otherwise, you're sitting in line at, I don't know if they have Splash Mountain anymore, but you're sitting in line for 2 hours waiting.
Mountain, can't they?
I thought they were maybe redoing it, renovating it, because some of the stuff that was on the ride, people wanted to change or whatever, different times.
Never
but
been
like
to Disney World, so
okay,
Orlando.
But you know Splash Mountain,
yeah.
though. Like you're familiar with the ride. Yes.
Are you on like a log? What's the okay? I was like, I felt like, is that the one?
That's exactly right.
Obviously, I've
then Magic Kingdom's got.
I've lived in America my whole life. I've seen photos or videos of people going down a ride at Disney World.
Yeah, you've seen It's a Small World as well at Magic Kingdom.
I'm not as familiar with it. Or Epcot. What's Epcot look like on the inside? I've only ever seen the outside.
Space Mountain is on.
Oh, Space Mountain's in there?
It's at Epcot.
Oh, okay.
Space Mountain was.
It's inside the giant crystal ball thing, or is it just
I don't believe
nearby?
so. No, the ball is just the thing. I don't know.
Oh, that's not Epcot. I thought the ball.
The ball
is Epcot.
Okay. Yes.
But
the area is also. It's both.
Well, no, that's just like the face of Epcot. Like that's the image you think of. But there's all these other rides around it.
Got it.
I don't know if Space Mountain's in.
I don't believe it's in. I think that's a different part of the park.
Got it. I don't know what the rules are.
But they have like the World Beer Tour thing there too, like a world. I think it's called World of Beers or something like that at Epcot. It's been I was not 21 when I went there, so I did not experience that. I haven't gotten to Disneyland or World since I was like a junior in high school or something. It's been a very, very long time. Now they have. I get confused.
Did you like it as a junior in high school?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
I would go.
Really good.
Dude, I'd go in a heartbeat. I didn't know.
I didn't know.
The reason why I think is I don't know if you had been to Disney World before. I went to, I don't remember. I was like 2 or 3 when I went before. You can't enjoy the rides. Where you're a junior in high school, even though the rides are not necessarily.
I'd go on Space Mountain in a heartbeat.
Yeah. They're never above your age, I don't think. I
like roller coasters. Yeah, it's fine.
Space Mountain, you know what's great about that for someone that's not the biggest fan of heights? Space Mountain, it's dark for 90% of it, so I can't even see like how high I am compared to the ground. And I'm good. There you go. I'm good. Anyway, we'll check with Vinny, find out how Disney World and everything's going. Plus, we'll get his thoughts on the postseason. See
if he got the fast pass.
We'll see if he got the fast pass as well. One other thing, though, is happening this week. More and more coaching moves in the league, and I would call it a surprise almost based on the reporting that was trending towards the Raiders landing Ben Johnson. So then yesterday afternoon, when it became reported, and I guess I don't know if it's official now, but certainly every national reporter says Ben Johnson is going to be the next head coach of the Chicago Bears. This, to me, should have been their number one option in Chicago. We go all the way back to August. I thought that instead of keeping Matt Eberflus, they should have kept the decision forward to move on. Like they already blew up a lot of the rest of the staff. They should have just gone ahead and moved forward all the way and kept with their decision to move on from some guys, and brought in Ben Johnson a year ago. But ultimately, they get, to me, the right guy. And I'm not sitting here telling you that Ben Johnson's going to end up being a Hall of Fame head coach or something. I have no clue. But I know they have a great quarterback, talent-wise. I know they have Roma Dunze, talent-wise, pretty good option to have and build around it, and you take a look at that offense. for a play caller to work with. Their offensive line they'll probably work on in the draft. And then they go out, and it sounds like your favorite guy, you have to admit, as a defensive coordinator is fine. And Dennis Allen looks like he'll be their defensive coordinator.
I got nothing against
as
Dennis
a coordinator.
Allen, head coach versus coordinator is very different.
I love the hire. I think it just makes a ton of sense for what they need, given the weapons that they have and the quarterback they have.
So we've talked about this before, and what I told you is like, I didn't think Ben Johnson was a idiot. I just didn't think it was going to be a good hire in Vegas because of all the things you were going to try to make work. And you were going to, I think, give him more control than he probably should have in the early going, where like it felt like he was also going to be picking his GM, and then you kind of run into these problems. In Chicago, I love the fit. This is the right kind of hire if you're not going to go stability hire. I would have never judged Chicago for finally looking themselves in the mirror and saying, my God, we need to be a functional NFL organization first and then figure out head coach, which is what like a guy like Mike McCarthy or others offer you when you're going for that. But if you're telling me right now you just spent the first overall pick on what people were claiming was a generational quarterback in the draft, and you want to get the biggest name in the offensive coordinator game, I'm not going to complain. The fit seems good. I actually think this is the way better choice for Ben Johnson than to go to the Raiders. I think that would have been a mistake. He's got to get a better offensive line, but he's got a base of weapons to start with. He immediately he did the Chiefs model. I'm going to take a head coach, and I'm going to put them in defensive coordinator, and I'm going to let Dennis Allen worry about playing my defense. And you know why that's worked? Because it worked with Brian Flores this year. It worked with Spags. It's going to work with Dennis Allen. Getting the former head coach, Saleh, getting the former head coach to be your DC, I love that fit. So this all together fits very well for Chicago, and good. If Ben Johnson is a genius and he's an ex-Sean McVay, at least he's on the NFC side.
It totally makes sense. Doesn't always mean it'll work out, but it's absolutely the right hire for what they're doing. And they still have, I'll give Ben Johnson credit on this. A lot of people were critical of like, oh, he wants to have all this control. He's going to a place where the GM was already there.
And has been in place for a while.
Ryan Poles has been there. It's the ownership thing, we'll find out as time goes on, just like how much they get in the way. But I think it makes a lot of sense. If I'm a Lions fan, it goes back to he's staying in the division and all that. If you're Dan Campbell, I'm sure you would have preferred, if possible, he did not stay in your division. That's a little tough for you. You're going to have one of your coordinators that just left is now going to be one of your big rivals.
Now, that happens sometimes.
I would ask, though, if you're the Raiders, where the heck do you go from here? Because it looked like Tom Brady had this long Zoom call with Ben Johnson. I don't think so there. But part of me is glad the Chiefs may have avoided, though, Ben Johnson. I'm not saying that the Raiders have a quarterback or GM. They don't. But if Ben Johnson is going to be as good as some people think he's going to be, I would rather that coach just not be in my division if I'm the Chiefs. So I think the Chiefs won out on this one, too. It's another break for them. Who are they going to get? Do they go to the stability hire? Do they go Pete Carroll, or Todd Monken's name's been thrown out, which I would like.
Has he ever even been a head coach?
He has not. He's the coordinator for the Ravens.
He's like 80. You're going to hire an 80-year-old offensive coordinator to be your head coach?
56.
That's the most Raiders hire of all time.
He's 56.
You're just trying to double the man's age almost.
He's
horrible hire if they hire Todd Monken.
He's younger than Spags, but I would not like the hire if I'm the Raiders.
Spags has done it before.
I understand. I'm not saying they should hire Monken. I'm just telling you the names that are being thrown out there. I don't know. This is another good news for the AFC West, that the Raiders couldn't even land what would have been a really, really nice hire, an impressive hire for them, and they couldn't get it done.
I'm trying to look up Spags' age. Do you know how old he is?
60-something.
I mean, we probably looked it up when his name was getting, and although their names have cooled off.
65.
He's a young 65. It feels spry.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Monken seems just like sad all the time. Maybe it's because of his poor postseason performances. Does he remember that they run the ball typically in Baltimore in the regular season and it's led to a tremendous amount of success offensively? Or he seems to forget that in the divisional round and in the AFC title game last year, that running the ball is part of what got him there. Last year with Derrick Henry, or last year with not Derrick Henry, but just the entire run game. And this year with Lamar Jackson with zero design runs. I mean, my guess is they're going to hire another person who's fired in 2 years. Official prediction.
Well, that's what happens with a lot of teams.
If I were Pete Carroll or Mike McCarthy, it's a death blow. Taking that job is ending my career. And I'm not doing that. If I'm Pete Carroll or Mike McCarthy, I'm not doing that. I'm not ending, at least, and I know the Saints are a mess too, but that ownership has traditionally given people some time. Hell, they gave Dennis Allen 3 years.
Division's easier.
Division's easier. You can, you make it work for a year with Derek Carr. So, like, you have some stability at quarterback, and then you try to go start finding your guy and making that work. Like, there's a balance there. Raiders, I don't even know where you start. You got two good players. You got an all-world tight end and an all-world defensive end, and the rest of the roster is very bad.
Yeah, the division's a big hurdle, no doubt. I mean, I think the cap mess in New Orleans, though, is a little bit of a problem. If I were looking at that job. Now, I'll tell you, this was before Ben Johnson got hired. At one point, he was these are offshore odds on who the next head coach of the Raiders could be. He was the favorite. Ben Johnson was at plus 160. He's now the head coach in Chicago. So then you go down the odds chart. Here's what they were saying just 24 hours ago. Pete Carroll, plus 450. Brian Flores was 7.5 to 1. Cliff Kingsbury was 7.5 to 1. I think he's going to stay in DC, but you never know.
I wouldn't take that Raiders job.
Bill Belichick 10 to 1, McCarthy 12 to 1, Dion 12 to 1, and then Joe Brady 14 to 1.
Like, if I'm Cliff, I'm doing the Ben Johnson route. My whole name is now shiny and bright and new, and he's still young. He's going to get the I'm a former head coach, so I know what I did wrong the last time energy that teams love hiring for. He'll get to pick. He'll be Ben Johnson next year. He'll be able to pick the best possible situation for himself just as long as Jaden Daniels doesn't implode next year, as long as he's a capable NFL quarterback. Cliff Kingsbury's job will be looking real good. I'm not taking that Raiders.
I wonder if
maybe Jags. If I'm a big Trevor Lawrence guy.
That's what I was going to say. I wonder if he likes
bulky dude. Ben Johnson said it without saying it. He essentially told every single national reporter he didn't take even a Jags interview because of bulky.
Liam Cohen seems to be the favorite, perhaps, to land the Jags job. We'll see if that happens. He's the Bucs OC, but that's what happened in the coaching carousel yesterday. Props to the Bears, though. I do think they landed the right guy for what their organization is looking like offensively, with a young quarterback who did underachieve by the ridiculously high standard and benchmark that everybody set for Caleb Williams. And they gotta get him right before they ruin him. And I think Ben Johnson at least can get him right. Look what he did with Jared Goff. Like, that's all I'll say. Like, I understand they need offensive line help, and it's not the same thing when you don't have Ahmad Ra and all these guys.
So he's gonna have to do it with a different way.
But if we don't think watching Jared Goff play, the statue that is Jared Goff, who's been great under Ben Johnson, that we don't think Caleb Williams, with the athletic gifts that he has, that he can't make Caleb Williams look good. I don't know about like the team as a whole. I have no idea. Like, but can the offense look legit and be a threat? Can Caleb Williams be the guy we thought he maybe could be? Ben Johnson gives them the best chance to perhaps make that happen. That's all.
Yeah, probably. I mean, again, I like the
Text
hire
line says also Space Mountain, they said, is at Magic Kingdom, but Epcot definitely is the giant sparkly ball right when you walk in.
That's all I got. And then, I know when Mahomes does the parade.
That's at Magic Kingdom, I think.
The parade is?
Yep. Right down Main Street or whatever they call it.
How many times you been to Disney?
I've been
World.
Magic Kingdom is like the spot.
Some of this stuff is just like,
The castle is Magic Kingdom, yeah.
I'm just asking. It seems like you know a lot.
Your kids can go and have a crappy breakfast where the characters stop by and they charge you $150 or something.
Per kid?
No, but it's an insane number. Because Mickey comes by to say hello to your kids as they have terrible pancakes and waffles.
Pass on that. I think we'll spend our money on something else. Gift shop or something.
Gift shop? Talk about a ripoff. That seems even worse.
Well, at least they're going to take it home.
Go buy a Disney hat for
Mickey ears back.
A $45 Disney hat.
My daughter was my sister-in-law and their family, like maybe last year, 2 years ago, I don't know. A couple of years ago, sometime in the last couple of years, they went to Disney World, and they brought back the kids some stuff. And they brought back like a bubble wand, like a Mickey face bubble wand that lights up that my kid still uses. Desmond still uses to this day. Still works. He doesn't use the bubbles, but he uses the lights a lot. Maybe the bubbles still work, probably. And then they got my daughter Mickey ears. They have sat on her shelf, on the corner of the shelf, not on her head, for 2 consecutive years.
Maybe she just likes displaying them.
I just think she's not into wearing them. I don't know.
You're not a Disney household.
I mean, we watch Disney movies. We have the Disney app. I think they want to go to Super Mario World, or like the Despicable Me town.
That's not Disney, but yes.
I know, but that's like Universal. I think we might end up at Universal first as a group.
Universal Studios?
Yeah. Seems like a better chance that we'll end up in California. We can still go to Disneyland. They're right next to each other.
Someone says on the text line, life hack to remember which Disney is where. Disneyland, Disney World, maybe like LA. Yeah, Disneyland's always Anaheim. It's actually Anaheim, I think, specifically. Yes. And then Disney World, of course, is Orlando, which someone says capital ORL. And then,
okay.
But in general, I think it's one of those things like I feel like you just kind of know. Like,
I think
Disneyland
sometimes I have to think about it, but normally I can figure it out. It just like takes me a half a second.
La La
that's all.
Land, Disneyland, yeah.
All right, up next, let's check in with our VidFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantonio. We'll find out how the Fast Pass might be working at Disney World, and we'll see. Maybe we're catching them waiting in line to ride Space Mountain or something. That's coming up next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Well, there's nothing like the NFL playoffs. It's one big game after another, and you know what? Big games deserve bigger payouts. That's why FanDuel is giving all customers a same-game parlay profit boost every game during the NFL playoffs. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. You'll score a bigger payout if your SGP hits. I know on Sunday night, maybe you're taking a look at a same-game parlay. Travis Kelce to find the end zone again. Travis Kelce to go over 67.5 receiving yards. Maybe you couple that with a Kareem Hunt touchdown. So don't just watch from the sidelines. Visit FanDuel.com/Alex to get on the action. That's FanDuel.com/Alex to get a same-game parlay profit boost every game during the NFL playoffs. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Minimum 3-leg parlay requirement. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're going to make a resolution to improve your health. But if you're feeling sluggish and low energy, if your sleep patterns are off, if you've been working out and aren't seeing the gains you used to see, making that resolution may not be so easy. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're feeling the way I just described, we can likely help you with that resolution, because those symptoms probably mean you're suffering with low testosterone. And at Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating this condition. With our low T protocols, if you're like most men, the change will astound you. You'll feel more energy and better mental clarity, your sleep will improve, your workouts will be better, and you'll likely find your sex drive goes up as well. So call us today and get treated for your low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Steve here for Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. It's cold. I bet you are starting to notice your water heater is no longer keeping up as well as it used to. So, we are offering $200 off a tank-style water heater replacement, or if you want 1 hour long shower or more, we can install a tankless water heater with $400 off. This month only, so call Connolly Plumbing Solutions at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Now, your Live Nation lineup.
Don't miss these upcoming shows. Get tickets and info at livenation.com. Sebastian Maniscalco, Saturday, February 22nd at T-Mobile Center. Goo Goo Dolls, Friday, August 22nd at Starlight. And Lincoln Park, Sunday, August 31st at T-Mobile Center.
For tickets and info, hit up livenation.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
we can be twinsies
to
how was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Right now at Wendy's, get 2 of these fave items for just $7. The spicier classic chicken sandwich, Dave's single, or 10-piece nugs. It's an incredible deal, but an insanely difficult choice. Do you go double chicky sando, both spicy and classic, 1 beefy and 1 chicky? Or maybe you go all in on one and go Nug Max. 2 faves for just $7? Gotta be Wendy's.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time only. Select a request 2 for $7 deal to redeem. Not valid in a combo or with saucy nugs. Single item at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
What's up, football fans? BetMGM is giving you the chance to win up to $250,000 in bonus bet credits. It's all part of BetMGM's longest touchdown jackpot, where you could be able to split the grand prize with anyone else who bet on the longest touchdown of the week. Log into your BetMGM account today and opt into the promo. Then place an anytime touchdown wager of $10 or more on the player of your choice, up to 1 player per game. If your player scores the longest touchdown of the week, you'll win a share of the $250K in credits. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, New York, Nevada. BetMGM's longest touchdown jackpot subject to rules. See BetMGM.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are unrestricted rewards credits that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
The pro football playoff season is here, and there's one place to be. The BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Your home for wagertainment, giving you the sharpest insights and bringing on expert guest analysis.
From point spreads to props, live betting to futures, BetQL has you covered every step of the way with wall-to-wall coverage on the road to the championship in New Orleans.
Listen live on the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM, on the free Odyssey app and twitch.tv/BetQL or YouTube at Odyssey Sports.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. He's had songs written about him without asking for it.
Pasquantonio, I want it. Now it's time for Pasquantonio.
Mythological creatures and sandwiches have been named after him.
Beefy and Italian.
And he also thought the Devontae Adams trade was going to save the Jets.
The damn Jets.
Welcome back to the show, our FL insider, Vinnie Pasquantonio.
Well, we got to head straight to Orlando, and I'm hoping it's sunny and 70 degrees and just nice time to be down in Orlando. Vinnie Pasquantonio, he told us last week that's where he was going to be. Are you in line? Are you waiting to go on Space Mountain or something?
No. I went yesterday. We went to Hollywood Studios yesterday, and shout out to a woman I met named Jennifer who recognized me. She was very nice. We spoke for a little bit. She was very nice. Nice to meet her. But no, it's not nice here at all. Actually, it's raining.
What? It's not?
It's raining and it's like 50 degrees, which here, I don't know, Florida people I don't think know how to drive when it's under 70 degrees. I went to UCF this morning to work out, and one, beautiful facility. Shout out to UCF because it's super nice. But two, the weather is just horrid right now. Not as horrid as where you guys are.
No, it's like 0 degrees here. It's quite unpleasant here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool vacation where don't get to see the sun, and I have to wear a sweatshirt.
What? Just out of curiosity, so you say, hey, I'm going to go work out at UCF. Does somebody for the team set that up for you? You fire off a text? How do you get set up at UCF just to go work out there?
Networking. So it actually hits home with the Royals. Lonnie Goldberg, who was our former scouting director. Now I think he's like director of player something, front office with the Royals. He, his son went to UCF last year. So I had an easier connection than sometimes. So I asked him how the staff was at UCF because I didn't know any of them. And then he said they're cool, and he got it set up for me.
For what it's worth, Lonnie's official title is Assistant General Manager and Director of Amateur Scouting.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Thanks for clearing that up, Cody. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Cody. That made it way clearer for me.
Well, we're sorry that you're getting bad.
Lonnie drafted me, so I am forever grateful for Lonnie.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Now, you mentioned Hollywood Studios. Are you planning on going to any of the other parks, or was that just kind of what you're doing?
That was it. That was it. Just we do one park a year, so we did that one. Got to do Star Wars stuff, which is very fun, and now we're now we're trying to figure out what to do today in this beautiful weather.
Yeah, everybody says the Star Wars thing is really cool. Like, did you build your own lightsaber? I heard that's like one of the features you got to pay extra for, which I'm sure is no problem, Vinny. But I heard that's what Cody and I were joking.
Don't get into my pocketbook, guys. You don't know what I can pay for.
Hey, Cody and I during the break were saying, "Man, that lightsaber." I'm like, "Yeah, I think it's an extra like X amount of money." And so we're just curious if you're doing. Like, I would go. We were saying we would be going all out, Vinny. That's all.
Well, I'm not I like Star Wars, but I'm not the biggest. Like, I'm not like obsessed with it or follow it a super ton. And because of that, I'm not really allowed to have collectibles at my house because I don't do anything with them. My wife would throat punch me immediately if I tried to buy one of those, knowing that I would end up doing nothing with it.
Smart. Sounds like a good woman, Vinny. Yeah, smart. Keep you in line at least. Let's talk about the NFL and what we got last week out of this. Do you view Lamar Jackson as now this storyline that is, well, he's just not going to win in the playoffs because that's where it is? Or are you in the other side of the argument, I guess, that is, hey, some quarterbacks start slow in the playoffs and he's too good to be held down forever?
Yeah, okay, so this is I'm going to have a long-winded answer here. I have a theory about the NFL. Not a theory, but what I would do if I was in charge of a team. There are a few quarterbacks in the league where I would call a GM of another team and I would say, hey, I want your quarterback. I will give you a first-round pick for every unlimited first-round picks until he retires. You can have my first-round pick until this guy retires. Lamar Jackson is in that camp.
Okay.
He could be my quarterback. And somebody had to lose the game the other night, and it just happened to be him. I thought, he made some mistakes. I thought they could have won the game. They didn't. He's a very good player, and I don't think any less of him because of that.
When you look at what Josh Allen has been able to do, and you've seen him obviously in the division as a Jets fan a number of times, what makes him so difficult to stop? We've seen him in Kansas City a lot, but in your minds, what makes Josh Allen such a difficult player to defend?
Well, I think it's the ability to put the ball down and run. That, and he can just launch it over your head. And I think this year the difference for him, obviously he's been in the AFC Championship before, that's not a surprise. But I think the difference is he's not launching the ball and turning it over this year. It seems to be smarter plays. I don't know. Right, there's a standard in the NFL that Mahomes is number one. And it doesn't even, people talk about other things because it would just be boring to say that he's the best quarterback in the league. Josh Allen is probably as close as you can get to that. And I think if the Bills were to go on to win the Super Bowl, you could probably make the argument that he is in that, same sort of tier.
Do you think he'd have a Super Bowl if Patrick Mahomes didn't exist or was in the NFC?
I don't know. I think, man, I don't know. It's easy to throw hypotheticals, right? And be like, yeah, of course. But winning's hard, and winning titles is really hard, and it takes I don't want to use the word luck because it doesn't take luck to win, but you need things to go your way.
No question.
Most of that is stuff that you do, right, to make things go your way.
You can have a $400 million payroll. I've heard that helps.
Ooh, boy, that is quite a different topic that I do have some opinions on. Did you see that they signed Kirby Yates?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know who's going to pitch the ninth inning because the fifth inning, a closer is now pitching for them, so that's sick. Yeah, Josh Allen's just really good, and it just comes down to winning is very hard, and the Chiefs just do things the right way, and there are different players other than the quarterback that do things the right way too. So it's they're firing on all cylinders, and this weekend will be a really, really fun game.
You alluded to it when we were asking about Lamar Jackson, just hey, ultimately they had a chance to go tie the game. It's a great job by Lamar, and the narrative around him might be so different this offseason because, unfortunately, a drop pass there from Mark Andrews. And then you see basically how Mark Andrews is handling this, and I'm sure how devastating that moment is. He didn't speak to the media, and then yesterday I guess they had the locker clean out, and he didn't show up or whatever. I know you haven't been playing professional sports for nearly as long as Mark Andrews, but let's peel back the curtain on how difficult is it to handle, I guess, quote unquote failure, or just in that moment where everybody is just blaming you for something. I just can't imagine being in Mark Andrews' shoes right now.
Well, I'd like to make it clear that I've been playing professional sports 1 year less than he has. Just the minor leagues are professional sports too.
That's true.
True. Fair enough.
That I just needed to make that joke, but it's tough, man. Like, he lives for it. Like, it's what he does. He wakes up in the morning and he thinks about catching footballs. And in the biggest moment, he dropped the ball, and it really, really sucks. Like, it just does. It really, really sucks. And he's going to have a long off season now because of it. And, you know, just as like a human, I hope he finds a way to get over it, get through it, because it's going to suck for a long time. I mean, you feel like not only did you let your teammates down, but you feel like you let the whole city down, like what could have been in that game, right? Like, I mean, the Bills could have gone down and scored, and maybe it doesn't matter. But, you know, it did happen, and it effectively, right? I mean, it ended the game. And it really sucks for him, but at the end of the day, like, you got to catch the ball. In that moment, he didn't, and it sucks, but, you know, the Bills are moving on, and it is what it is.
On the NFC side, I guess because of the upset of the Lions, there probably aren't that many people ruling them out. But how good of a chance do you give Jaden Daniels and the Commanders to take down the Eagles in Philadelphia?
Man, he's really good, huh? I mean, Jaden Daniels is a very good player. And here's maybe a hot take for you. Dan Quinn, really good coach. I know he had the Super Bowl thing, but, like, is Dan Quinn, was he maybe underrated as a head coach?
Maybe. I mean, he's gotten to turn around pretty quick in Washington.
I also heard something, though, that I kind of laughed at, is that his analytics guy is the same guy that was in L.A. with Brandon Staley. So, like, they're going for all these fourth downs, and apparently it's, like, the same guy that's doing the math for them.
Interesting.
So, like, I don't know, it feels like you're playing with a little bit of fire when you're going for that many fourth downs. And, like, also, why can't they just score within 3 downs? Like, I feel like these past 2 playoff games, they're just 4th and 3.
Take some 4 downs every time.
Like, why do you keep getting to 4th down? Like, and maybe it's because in the game plan, you know, you're going for 4th down, so maybe you're not being as aggressive. But, like, just get the first down. I say that from my ignorance, you know.
It's like, just use the best play now. Why wait till the end, you know?
Yeah. Hey, it's 3rd and 3. You could just do the good play and just get the first down or the touchdown. Like, I don't know how many times you're going to get the it's like always 4th and 3. It's very strange. But they put it in his hands. Like, this is where I go back to the Ravens for a second. It's like this weird, they don't know who to give the ball to, it feels like. Like, we've got our MVP quarterback, but we have Derrick Henry, and it's like they can't decide who's going to take the game over. Where it's like in Washington, it's like, no, Jaden Daniels is just going to do it. Like, in Kansas City, who's getting the ball on 4th and 2, 4th and 3? You know who's getting the ball, right? Like, they're not running it. And if they run it, it's going to be because the quarterback runs it. Same thing in Buffalo. You know who's getting the ball. Where in Baltimore, it's like, oh, who do we give it to? And in Washington, like, they're really good right now, and they're hot, and there's something to be said for that. And I mean, the Eagles are glad they're playing at home, but they're like, man, we got to play a team that knows us this well. Like, this kind of sucks. Not that they're scared or by any means, but you know what I mean.
Sure, yeah. Commanders beat them a couple weeks ago on with the final play from scrimmage, and you know the Commanders are very, very confident. As we're talking to our NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantonio, I'm sure you've seen, it's hard to avoid it at this point, the narrative around the Kansas City Chiefs, and people in Kansas City are just kind of fed up with it. We've called it Chiefs derangement syndrome, and it's caught on all across the country, not just with fans, but seemingly media members as well. And this idea that things are, you know, rigged for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think there's a balance. We've acknowledged that great players, LeBron, Mahomes, Brady, etc., yeah, they get some calls that go their way, but the conspiracy stuff is just ludicrous.
Well, I think there's a few things. One, like, people are tired of the Chiefs winning, like, nationally tired of it, right? Like, when you watch sports, and we're all biased, right? Because we see it all the time. And I'll include myself in that because I live in Kansas City half the year. It's like, it's very cool to see them win. But if you're outside of Kansas City, you're so tired of seeing them win. And you see them on prime time all the time, especially, not necessarily during the regular season, but I mean, in the playoffs, right? They're in your face all the time. So you're just kind of tired of seeing them win. And then you see some of these calls and, I don't know how you guys feel about the calls, but like, they're not black and white, right? Like, It's not like this is or it isn't. Like, there's some judgment there, which is why they have people that judge the games, referees. And people are just tired of seeing that. But it's the same thing with New England. Let's see. I am on Cody Tapp's Twitter right now. Cody, have you announced what you're doing, by the way?
No, so this is actually a great time to mention that I have a song about people complaining about the referees in Kansas City. And I did ask Vinny to have a cameo in said song. He has declined the offer.
Smart decision.
Vinny, how close did you get to saying yes? Did you at least consider it?
I at least considered it, but then I was like, you know what? I live in a locker room half the year. The last thing I need is somebody finding that song and playing that song with my vocals in it.
I think it's a smart career decision for you to turn that opportunity down. Yeah, I think that's a smart decision.
Yeah, all right. So, people are just tired of it, right? And enjoy this, because that's where you want to be, on top of the mountain, where people hate your team so much that they're convinced there's a conspiracy, for them. That's where you want to be. If we're going to talk about conspiracies, I don't think this is not a knock to Kansas City at all, by the way, what I'm about to say. I need to preface that. If the NFL could pick who was going to be, the best team, they would be picking a team in New York or L.A.
Correct.
No, that's what I agree, totally.
So the Jets would be the best team in the league if there was a conspiracy for that.
And I guess the Rams have at least won a title, so someone in LA.
Nobody cares about LA football teams. I feel like though.
No,
I hate that. I know I just said LA, but
they probably just prefer that the Giants and Jets.
I don't know one Chargers fan. I don't know one.
I don't.
No, that's why when we see these opposing teams go to LA or Vegas, add them to the mix as well. There's more away fans. The fans don't pack the place. It's a visiting home. It's a neutral site almost.
Yeah, but did you guys see Fesco get old takes?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
That was amazing. I almost tweeted at him being like, oh no. Because that's what's really funny is you guys are talking about KC derangement syndrome. You guys had it too back in the day when the Chiefs weren't winning. Is you guys were tired of the freaking Patriots.
Here's the thing. So no doubt was tired of the Patriots, and we all did think Brady got calls. I guess what I take issue with is not the, hey, great players get the benefit usually from refs. That does happen. I admit that. I think what annoys me is the people that go off the deep end, and it's like, this is a conspiracy, and they're rigging it so the Chiefs can win and all of this. And I'm just like, well, why don't you just bet on the Chiefs to win every single game? You'd be rich if you think it's so rigged.
Yeah, well, according to Cody's Twitter, so I'm in 2016 right now.
Oh, no.
10-16. Well, they blew that call, and now the Chiefs can't make a comeback. Thanks a lot, refs.
Hey, I never said refs don't make a bad call, but yeah, I usually don't think they decide the final score. Plus, in 16,
something happened in 2017 in December where Travis Kelce threw something at a ref and said something about Foot Locker.
Oh, that was really funny, actually. Travis Kelce said that they didn't deserve to work at Foot Locker.
Okay. Well, do you think he thinks they could deserve to work at Foot Locker now?
Yeah, probably.
After a few Super Bowls?
Yeah, probably. That was also Carl Sheffers. That's a pretty famous one.
I'm scrolling I search your Twitter for
and
just
search
refs.
Yeah.
You have a lot of tweets about the refs, I will say.
This will make the song even better later, Vinny,
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, you're about to make a song talking crap about people talking about the refs. Let's see if you talked crap about the refs.
Of course I have. Everyone does about refs.
We know Fesco has. We know that for sure. That Fesco has said that the refs made the Patriots.
So do you think the Chiefs are winning on Sunday night?
I have no evidence to believe that they're not. And I might be there.
Oh. All right.
I probably won't be there, but I might be. So, and if I am going, not going to tell you. Well, I probably will. I was
going to say, why not? Why can't you tell us?
And I will say, in AFC championships that I am in attendance at, 0-1, actually, I think.
Oh, well, then don't show up if that's the case.
I'm trying to remember. I went to the one. Did they play the Bengals in 2 straight AFC championships?
No. Oh, wait, yeah, they did.
They beat them one time.
Yeah. I went to the one that they won.
Okay. Okay, then you're safe. You can come on Sunday.
Okay, because I also went to the Bengals-Bills game where the Bengals beat the Bills. I think that was the same year that the Chiefs beat the Bengals.
Okay. Well, then, yeah.
It was my first. Regardless, the Chiefs have won a Super Bowl every time I do this radio show. So And I got the tickets because of this radio show. So they had to have won.
Okay.
That's right.
Great.
So,
well, we're looking forward to seeing you on Sunday, maybe.
Not that the Chiefs need any help, but they might have some extra ammo this Sunday.
Well, we'll let you get back to the great weather you're having in Orlando. And
Can I just stay on the phone? Can I just finish the show? I'm just kidding.
You want to do another 3 hours on the phone?
Yeah. But I will be in town. I probably should have just texted you this, but I will be in town next Friday. Friday. No, next Friday. Next Friday. Maybe I'll come into the studio.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Okay, but
and then if you promise, maybe we'll give you some. You can read instead of like mean tweets. I want you just to read past Cody tweets on the show in studio. We'll have some ready for you.
I had like a interview I did with Chris Rose go like mini viral yesterday, and people were ripping me for being stupid, which is pretty.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Yeah, because I talked about first base and. Basically, I'm a big dumb idiot who plays first base. Just catch the ball, man. Just catch the ball. And yes, I understand that I haven't been as good as I'd like to be the past 2 years, guys. You don't need to tell me that I suck. I know. Like, jeez. Gosh. But okay, yeah, I'm going to get back to vacation.
All right,
you enjoy it, Vinny.
Yeah, all right, good to talk to you guys.
There you go. That's Vinnie Pasquantonio, our NFL insider. Maybe in studio next week. Maybe at the Chiefs game on Sunday. All to be determined. He also spilled the beans on something you've been working at. The danger here, the danger here. He spilled the beans, which means one of our listeners out there has a block the song pass.
But maybe he also thinks that people are being.
I'll say this: the topic. This one I might enjoy as well.
You're interested because of the topic.
It is up to the individual. They have been in contact. I don't know if they're blocking it yet.
I'll be honest. I thought for a minute I had Vinny in like the perfect, maybe he's having a glass of wine at dinner. I sent the initial request. Vinny's response is, that is an unbelievable question. Like he is intrigued. Then, I send him some lyrics that I've already written. I send a little sample of what I'm thinking he could do for this part. I explain why he could handle it and why Casey would love him in this role. Upon some late night reflection, Vinny has passed on being
smart.
in this.
I think it's a smart move.
He has passed on being in this song, but if we play it later in the show, just as long as it doesn't get vetoed, I will tell you. You'll know which part Vinny was going to.
So did you have someone else replace him?
No, just me.
You just got rid of it.
It's still in the song.
So it's more of you.
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay.
It's maximum.
I thought you were just writing the song. It's ready to go.
Done. It's ready to go. It can be aired at any second on this show.
Now, be honest. Is this something that's going to embarrass Kansas City?
No. It'll make us look good.
Okay.
It's actually talking about how embarrassing everyone outside of Kansas City is.
All right.
Which I think is important here because of all
people want to know the genre of the song. Like what is it? Oh boy.
What? You said genre. I gave genre.
No, I know. That's
pop.
Okay.
2000s pop.
Okay, so it's a remake of kind of a remake of another song.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, it's a cover, I guess, if you will.
Can I guess the artist?
You want to guess the artist already?
Wow.
Sure.
Is it a Britney Spears cover?
It is not a Britney Spears cover.
There's one particular song that I was thinking.
Were you thinking like Refs or something? Which one were you thinking?
I thought you were going to go Taylor Swift and like.
It's not Taylor Swift.
Hate,
I've done Taylor
hate
Swift
or something. Yeah. Okay.
That would have been pretty good too.
You're welcome.
What is I thought you were going to do when the world ends cover. I can't take these refs no more.
God, there are so many good choices. It turns out. It's not anti-refs.
Yeah.
This is anti-people complaining about the refs.
Vinny was bringing up some of your old tweets. Again, I think we've acknowledged it's not that we've said we never complain about refs in Kansas City. Of course we have in Kansas City. I'm saying if you want to claim that Mahomes gets a call or two, that's fine. It's the fringe that's turned into more of the majority opinion of like
deep state conspiracy against the NFL.
That's what I'm talking about. Not we all think the refs stink. Of course. It's the whole conspiracy, it's rigged for the Chiefs, yada yada. That's the wacko stuff that I'm talking about when I say CDS and Chiefs derangement syndrome.
I mean, there were some pictures like of Mahomes in a ref jersey.
They do those AI generated ones where essentially they're just like making out with each other. Like, what the hell's wrong with you?
It's also just very weird. Like if you're spending the time making AI like fake videos, making it look like Mahomes is kissing a referee, it's very weird.
Very weird.
Could they just be like hugging like Josh Allen did in real life, or do they have to just like Does it have to go a step beyond that, I guess, is the question.
I'm not sure, man. So. Thanks again to Vinnie, though. It stinks the weather sounds like not great in Orlando for him.
Better than here, though, so I can't feel that bad.
He went to Hollywood Studios. I guess that's where that I guess is where the Star Wars stuff is at. I wasn't sure. All right, up next, though, let's get back into this wide receiver room. I think it was surprising to a lot of us how that played out, but is it actually a concern? That's coming up next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Men, listen up. If you're often feeling tired, lacking motivation, dry, can't sleep, gaining weight, maybe you're noticing that loss of muscle mass, all of those things can be signs of low testosterone. You don't want to wait. You can just find out now at the Low T Center. They make it easy to get your levels checked. Simple test with their on-site lab that help you get the results back right there. It's not your typical doctor's office at the Low T Center. Their physicians specialize in low T testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT, for each patient. The experts at the Low T Center have over a decade of experience helping patients, and, because it's very important, they do personalized treatment that are optimized for each individual patient, not just some standardized treatment where you walk in and you feel like they're treating you like anybody walking through the door. If you go to Low T Center right now, current patients can get a $150 referral code for each new patient that you refer. And at Low T Center, you can also get your health evaluated for treatment with prescription GLP-1 weight loss medications. So go get back to your best. Go to lowtcenter.com. Book your appointment today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down. 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
Hey, KC, when I discovered my new passion, I dove into social media, got on some shows, and soon almost Andy Reid was bored. But this winter, there's something new you might discover that's not as great. Issues with your garage door. Don't get stuck in the cold. Get your annual maintenance check for just $100 or a free replacement quote from my friends at Renner Garage Door. They carry top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, trusted locally since 1956.
RENNER, RENNER.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention, if you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-217-1316 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-217-1316. That's 800-217-1316. Again, 800-217-1316.
Jewelrygram, it's your friends at Shane Company here to remind you that Valentine's Day is Friday, February 14th. It's the most romantic day of the year to give and get fine jewelry. We have expertly crafted gifts for every type of sweetheart. For the one, we'll help you propose with the dream engagement ring. Come see our wide selection of hand-picked natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes. In stock and ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Or maybe you'll fall in love with the natural colorful gemstone. At Shane Company, we're known for our sapphires in every color of the rainbow. We have options for every style and budget. Get creative and design a custom necklace with meaningful charms, including 14-karat gold letters, engravable hearts, and birthstones. Our mother-of-pearl heart-shaped collection makes a perfect gift that's ready to give. At Shane Company, love is always in the air with our unmatched free lifetime warranty, everyday competitive prices, and no-pressure shopping experience. Come see us in-store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Championship week coverage of the Chiefs and Bills on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer partner of your Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, it's Justin Reed, and you're listening to the home of the back-to-back Super Bowl champs, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, 11 o'clock out. We're feeling good on a Tuesday. It's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Thanks again to our VNFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantonio, for joining us. Who knows? Maybe in studio next week. Cross our fingers on that one. And at least we found out that he's not bad luck for the Chiefs. So I was a little worried when he said he went to the AFC title game that they lost. It sounds like that's not the case. They're 1-0 when he goes, so I think he's welcomed at Arrowhead. I'm guessing he'll be nice and toasty and in some good seats.
I would hope so. And if not, he is. I mean, I've seen him in like cold weather gear in a Jets game, so I know that he's willing to dress up warm in order to do it.
My guess is he'll be with some teammates.
I didn't ask him. Did he renew his Jets season tickets this year? I feel like.
Why wouldn't he?
I don't know. Maybe
he's still a Jets fan.
Oh, I get it, but like maybe it's just not.
He's like Aaron Rodgers. He's waiting to see who the head coach and GM are going to be and quarterback, and then he'll make his decision.
I mean, if I were him, I'd probably keep him because you already paid that PSL. Imagine. So like, I might as well keep him now. Even if I'm just selling
that stadium definitely has PSLs.
He told you not to look in his pockets. He said, don't you worry about my pockets.
That was about the Star Wars,
the Star Wars
lightsabers. That was funny.
I think he can afford it, to be clear, but.
Yeah. I was like, hey, did you buy those lights? I know they're expensive, but did you buy them? I figured you could afford it.
If you missed that, we'll give you back part of that later. Plus, just as long as it's not blocked. Noon hour, you think, for the song?
Sure. I'm not against this one today. Here's the key. The reason why it's been a while instead of like every week. It's been 4 months.
Yeah, I've waited a little while.
And this one's about the refs, and I'm all aboard the screw you, embrace the hate, Chiefs derangement syndrome stuff. So far, the block has not come through.
Okay.
The person definitely knows the song is definitely knows you have a song. They have not said the block it yet.
Okay, great. Well, at least they know. They know the basis of it.
Pass. Anyway, our championship coverage is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer partner of your Kansas City Chiefs. The weird thing out of the win, I honestly think one of the weirdest things out of the win on Saturday night for the Chiefs was that only one wide receiver had a catch. Now, Travis Kelce, as a tight end, we know he essentially is a wide receiver for this team. He had over 115 yards receiving, 117. But Xavier Worthy was the only Chiefs wide receiver to get a catch in the game, which is just a crazy way to go about a playoff. And it's not like they ran the ball for 150 yards or something.
Their rookie wide receiver was the only one with a catch in the game at wide receiver.
I think we all would be surprised and doubt that happens again on Sunday night against the Buffalo Bills. I don't think it can. If they're going to win,
Sure.
they will have to spread the ball around more and have more success in multiple areas to win the game. But what was promising out of that development was we, for the first time, saw Xavier Worthy catch a true 50-50 ball. Was able to track the ball in the air, was able to adjust. That's the best catch he's had of the season.
As a pro,
I would argue for the Chiefs this year, it's one of the
three?
Yeah, let's say two, sure, whatever. 3 best catches of the entire season.
D-Hop's got 1 or 2 of those over the course of the year of ludicrous nature. It was, so like before we get to the other wide receivers, I don't want to make this seem like it's objectively a bad thing that Xavier Worthy is the only wide receiver who caught a pass, because what this tells us is the answer I didn't have before. The question I had before, Gold, was, is Xavier Worthy a bigger performer in the postseason, or is he not? Questions I don't think you could ever know about a player until you get to the postseason. Plenty of guys shrink up in the moment, even if they are really, really, really good regular season players. But in this case, Xavier Worthy was their single best wide receiver by a mile. And so I take that as a positive. It was weird that DeAndre Hopkins didn't play at all and that Hollywood Brown was unable to get a single catch. But maybe that was just avoiding Derek Stingley? Could I just chalk it up to matchup-based stuff and they were just Derek Stingley spent more time on Hollywood Brown, so that made it harder to cover him?
I think a lot of it was the defensive front for Houston in particular. The defensive front was able to kind of beat up on the left side of the Chiefs' offensive line. We know the Chiefs have been getting the ball out very quickly. They didn't have time for routes to develop. That's an adjustment they're going to have to make. But it's a great thing long-term for Xavier Worthy, but I think we're all being honest with ourselves. As much as it was awesome to see Travis Kelce go off, you're not going to win an AFC title game probably with only Xavier Worthy and Kelce being the 2 weapons in the entire game.
They were just really good in the short passing game. The Texans made it kind of impossible to do anything close to the line of scrimmage, which is how the Chiefs have operated their offense here lately and consistently. And look, 5 for 45 is not some written number. I will say, can we please get rid of the play call that is handing the ball off to Xavier Worthy inside the 15? Can we stop with that nonsense?
In fairness, in week 1...
And just run a normal play? I don't know.
In fairness, in week 1, it led to a touchdown.
Well, wasn't that like more like the 30? Maybe that was the 15.
It was like a 20-yard run, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess I was thinking it was further out. A little further out, I actually don't have an issue with it. But they always talk about like how it's harder to score in the red zone because the whole field is shrunk. And now you want to start a play 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage? That seems like a dangerous way to go about trying to get into the end zone.
Remember, the first time they played the Bills in Week 11, there was no Hollywood Brown, there was no DeAndre Hopkins. I will be stunned if Andy Reid doesn't have something schemed up for them to take advantage of that. And Buffalo's not stupid. Like, I don't think Buffalo's going to leave the middle of the field wide open for Travis Kelce. They're gonna make some of these other guys beat them. It's not that Kelce can't go off even with that happening, but I don't think you'll see the open space. I mean, there was nobody within 10-plus yards, 15 yards of Travis Kelce on 2 different catches in particular. It was unbelievable. I don't know what the hell was going on for the Texans defensively. Fortunately,
I think that they weren't focused on Travis as being the number 1 guy to shut down. I think that was fairly obvious. I think they had played him in the week before. They lulled him to sleep because he had like 3 for 30 yards in a game that they lost. And like, all right, Travis is whatever, and we'll guard him, but we're not going to guard him like 29-year-old Travis. I think they went into a game with a bad plan against Travis Kelce, and they found out how bad he can still burn you. He's one of the all-time leading receivers in NFL playoff history. Number 1 in catches, number 2 in yards, and number 2 in touchdowns. So, like, I'd probably just guard him till he retired. But I think that they probably took it easy. Buffalo won't make that same mistake. They'll need their receivers more in this Buffalo game.
It sounded like Mina Kimes thought it was actually Andy Reid whose game plan was, we're not even going to go after Stingley or Lessiter at all. We're just going to go to Travis Kelce and we'll see if they can handle it. And they did. They just couldn't hang. I mean, there were multiple moments. We even talked about it yesterday a little bit. But when they would go zone, Travis Kelce's so good at finding the little pocket in the zone anyways. But Al-Shaair looked lost on multiple occasions where the one play, he throws it deep to Hollywood. The one target he had, he drops it, play was made, whatever. Very next one. Travis Kelce nobody was in 8 yards of him.
Man, that pass to Hollywood. Whew. That was a good one, too. That ball should have been caught. That was a great pass.
Thought he had it. I really did.
They went to Kelce the next play, who had that
49-yard run.
So it didn't end up mattering for the game purposes, other than Mahomes bounce back quickly. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, especially if you were the Texans, I mean, things happen.
Plenty of guys shrink up in the moment. That's an unfortunate one.
Caught on that one right away on the text line. Also, I have bad news for you.
What?
I don't know how you got to negotiate. I'm not going to negotiate.
Wait, what happened?
You have to negotiate. Have you seen the text line?
No.
Oh. I also got a DM
He wants to block the song?
True Green Thumb, which is the rightful owner of From the Garage Sale.
His
block a song from Cody.
He was hammering the block button.
He said, I want to block the song. Block, block, block. This isn't me. You negotiate with him. You negotiate with him. The block's the block now.
Can we reconfirm? What are the rules of the block? It can't air today.
No,
it
was any. Hold on, I thought it.
So it can't air any day.
There's confusion.
This song
cannot air ever. Correct.
This song.
But can it air? The only thing that I was confused on that I don't remember.
This song cannot air.
Can I still put it on social?
That's not on the show.
Or is it just goes into? Okay, that's not on the show. So social is still fair game. But God, I can't ever air it on the show. Damn. You sure, True Green Thumb? There could be another song that you hate even more.
This one I'm not against, I'll be honest, because it at least involves the refs, and we haven't had one in a while.
What if, and just hear me out, since I know he's listening, I send you the song, and you don't make this decision rashly, and you listen to the song first before you make your decision. I honor the fact that he paid good money to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in order to have the block. I'm not going to just press space.
He's been patient with it, too.
He has been patient. He's had opportunities.
Isn't that why he blocked the song in the first place, so he didn't have to hear it? So if he listens to the song first, then it doesn't matter.
That's a great point. He can't avoid it in that scenario. But he might be maybe he was doing it as a philanthropic effort. He was saving others from the song.
Very, very kind.
All right, so we have our first real block of the year, I would say. This is the first time he's actually used the pass. Text line says the block is deserved.
Why? What do you got against it?
Someone says, dude, blocking a song, True Green Thumb, during a playoff run is bold. Will be blamed if KC loses, while Cody will be blamed if the song airs.
I was gonna say, is there any way that there's blame given out to either you or True Green Thumb in this case, where if you play it,
I think a block is a block, but
so right now there are two people on this planet who have heard this song. Now, that's not even my wife. I don't think she's listened to it yet. Vinnie Pasquantonio, who I sent it to one more time in an effort to try to get him to record his part. It did not take. And so he's heard it. And Joe Summers, who originally gave me this song, is inspiration for what the song could be. So there's two people in this entire planet who have heard this song. So now I got to decide whether to release it on social or just it just goes into the ether and nobody ever hears it.
The text line is split right now because he's saying, hey, if I don't block this one, then win. You always have an excuse. The next song's a great one, too. So the guy's in a tough spot. I do think
he's in a tough spot.
There's some danger here blocking it during a middle of a playoff run. And I think universally, True Green Thumb, everybody in Kansas City is behind how ridiculous this ref crap is from media outside of Kansas City and fans. This is one of those we're all on the same page. You know what I mean? That's the danger with this one.
Someone said you got Leo'd. You got Chanel.
Man, that's tough.
Wow. Someone says the block is legal. Doesn't mean you can't redo it with a different song.
I got to I spent, and this is always the thing about the block that hurts, hours of my life working on this, right? It doesn't I wrote the lyrics. I had to perform them, then rewrite, then come in here and perform, and then edit it. It takes time. I'm going to do a whole nother song? Oh, man. Damn.
Now people are taking shots at Drew. I mean, the text line's going crazy over this now. All of a sudden.
Someone wants to donate money to block me for a day.
Wow.
That's out of pocket. Wow.
Damn, what the hell?
Hold on. I will say this, though. If the thing, though, is that if you block me, theoretically speaking, the next day I would just be relentless.
Yeah. Someone did say, like, now that that's blocked, you just got to write tomorrow, just have a diss track about him.
Look, I'm not the one blocking this one,
I know.
man.
You didn't do
I'm
it.
not the
I
one
understand.
blocking this. The person
I
has
respect
had a
that
pass.
they paid money as part of the Cody and Gold garage sale, that was an available thing. The custom song aired. He is allowed to block a song.
There's a lot of people just saying, hey, we have a bad reputation all of a sudden of allowing you to get out of like negotiating bets and now blocks that we need to stick.
So I guess look on my personal, can't even go to the
you got out
station
of the-
social media page. I mean, that's too connected
You
to
got
the
out
show.
of the strip club bit as well? That was...
Now I got to make a decision on whether or not I think it's fair to put it on personal social page.
Yes,
He
we
does-
were
he can just
planning on
avoid
we were planning on playing this in the
But
new
then it's
hour.
there in the air.
So we'll give it till 12:10 for True Green Thumb to maybe come back with an offer. Otherwise, I think it has to hold. I think it has to hold.
Again, he paid for it. I respect it. If it doesn't air, it doesn't air.
Wow,
that's what it is. I'll just soak it in a little bit. I get what he's saying. He wants to hold me to my word.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't put a block in the Cody and Go garage for myself. That was Alex.
Well, the minute you put
that's fair.
The minute you put I'll
Custom
create
song?
a custom song for you. I'm like, oh, we have to appease both
And
sides
I valued
here.
it at like $1 million or something, and then you valued yours at $1 million more or whatever. Smart. Okay. Well, let's talk about some other things that are going on with the Chiefs. They've got the Bills coming up on Sunday for what is yet another huge game between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. This has hung over the Chiefs a lot, so I guess part of it is like it's like describing a problem that is real. But is it real enough that it will stop them from going to the Super Bowl? The things I always discuss with the Chiefs, and I think it's important to discuss here, is will this be the reason they don't go to the Super Bowl? The red zone effort on Sunday or Saturday, I apologize, against the Texans was abysmal. The first two drives inside the 15, one of which you were gifted on a bad kick return coverage, and not gifted, like you earn it, but you understand, good field position. They went 6 plays for negative 11 yards and settled for 2 field goals. They didn't even give themselves a choice to go for 4th down. Like we were talking about in the aggressiveness earlier, that's a whole nother problem. And so if that's the case, yeah, I'm a little bit worried about the red zone stuff. I will say they scored on 5 of their 7 total drives. Some of this is just a numbers game. They didn't get a lot of trips in general. But yeah, the red zone once again seems like it's flaring up. It's the cute stuff for me. Like it's like just play some normal function of your offense.
I think it's part of it, but they've had the ebbs and flows of this throughout the season too, where they've had stretches where all of a sudden the red zone issues are solved. I think we all recognize, again, against a team like Buffalo, going to have to be better than that out of the gate. I also think a discussion we're going to get into during the Chiefs Red half hour about running backs plays a role here. We're going to talk about Pacheco and Hunt. I think in the red zone, there's one running back that should be getting the touches, period. And we'll discuss that. But that's part of my answer kind of to your talking about how concerned should we be. Red zone issues and what's going on there. I think using the correct back in the red zone would also alleviate some of this. The first drive of the game, the negative 11 yards over 6 plays in the red zone that you referenced, the first 2 drives, I should say. Out of the 8 plays to begin the game, I want to say Pacheco had 4 of the touches. And this is not a knock on him. He's been incredible, but he's not their best. He's not their best option right now.
He's actually
in the goal line red zone area.
Part of it is because he's not as good. Like I think that they both possess talent in different ways, and we can talk more about the running backs here in a minute. But the problem with Pacheco is that he's not a good avoiding the negative run. He gets in negative yardage situations more than Kareem. And when you're talking about a red zone that is 15 yards, Gold, we have to be very, very, very careful about how many times you can take steps back in order to get there in the other level. And so, yeah, I don't think the red zone stuff is nothing, right? I don't think it should just be ignored. Because the other part about this is you can kick 3 field goals against the Houston Texans and win comfortably like they did. You and I both know, Gold, that is not the case with the Buffalo Bills. They are going to score between 24 and 30 points, in my opinion. Like, I think that that's probably the range for Buffalo. So if you're thinking you're settling for 3 field goals down there, are you getting 3 more touchdowns to go with it? No, you probably need to get in the end zone an additional time. Not every red zone trip, not every trip down to the scoring area has to end in not a field goal, but more than did against the Texans have to end up in a score. And I think some of it is like the run stuff, the run wide receiver stuff that gets me. Like, and I'm not saying they just have to be like, they're not Derrick Henry. They don't have to just run it up the middle and hope. But I just feel like that's where like DeAndre Hopkins, who is a a contested catch guy, or Travis Kelce, who moves great in space. And like I feel like they're always trying to get to the outside rather than try to work with some of the guys who I think can handle contested catches.
The Chiefs were overall, 24th in the league, it looks like, this year in red zone touchdown percentage. Buffalo, second best in the entire league. 68% of the time they score touchdowns. They also, that's where Josh Allen and his run game and the tush push that they do and everything comes into play. But they were the second best team. They beat the best team in the red zone this past week, Baltimore. Baltimore was the number one team in the red zone with Derrick Henry and Lamar, 74%. Buffalo, 68%. You got to go all the way to 24, where the Chiefs are, 52% in the red zone touchdown percentage. Of the remaining teams in the postseason,
they're the worst, probably.
Buffalo, I mentioned, was second. Let's see, where Philadelphia was 21st. Washington was 6th, and then the Chiefs were 24th. Yeah, so they were definitely the worst.
I mean, it's been a consistent problem, but some of that is what we just discussed. Some of those touchdowns are because, they're getting it 50% of the time, like if you're Washington's case, by going for it. And some of it is because Kansas City knows a lot of games they can win with field goals. I just don't think they can win this game with field goals.
Same thing applies to Buffalo, too, though.
Yeah,
I think it applies to them. Now, they have the numbers to back up that they're converting. But I would say that's the same thing in any big-time football game. I mean, on the NFC side, Commanders and Eagles, neither one of them can settle for field goals. I mean, I think when you get to games like this, you have to understand you settle for field goals. There's a risk that you missed your opportunity.
Yeah, I think so. And, I understand it, but Buffalo's been better at it in the red zone and goes for it more in the red zone. So, they're just better at it. Kansas City in this last game is frustrating because, the frustrating part is moving backwards.
Yeah,
not even, getting closer to the goal line so you can, make a decision. They're moving backwards.
That's where, and there's no way to, prove it one way or the other. The first two drives, was that rust or was that just what they were? I don't know, right?
Rust
first two drives were rusty. And they had negative 11 yards in the 6 plays. All right, let's get to it.
Trash of the day.
All right, let's get to this. Takes us down south to Mobile, Alabama. When's the last time you went drive-through coffee or something? Either of you? You guys get drive-through coffee or something?
It's been a long time.
It's freezing outside. I'm guessing Starbucks or Scooters or anywhere was packed today.
Yeah, the coffee shop right around the one I pass on my way.
Mm-hmm.
Long line.
I bring it up because there was a Starbucks down outside of southwest of Mobile, Alabama, in a town called Tillman, where an employee had to get stitches and vaccinations. Yeah, stitches and vaccinations.
Okay.
That's because a customer brought a pet monkey through the drive-thru line, leaped into the service window, runs up the employee's arm to her head, bites the barista at Starbucks. How do they end the attack? A coworker grabs the monkey and threw the monkey out the drive-thru window. And
how am I going to get bitten by a monkey in a drive-thru?
Well, the customer and the monkey left the establishment by the time police arrived. He and the health department was notified of the animal bite. The owner of the animal could face charges. The employee the monkey attacked, who asked that she remain unnamed, sustained bite marks to her hands, a laceration to her ear, which required stitches. She shared images of the injuries and showed where her ear had an issue. She said, quote, "I was working in the drive-thru when the lady came through with 2 monkeys in the car.
Oh.
She had never interacted with her before and had her drink ready. They pulled up to the window. As soon as she rolls down the window, her window, the monkey jumped out and attacked her." Not expecting that if you're working the drive-thru, that a monkey's flying out the window immediately. What are you taking? Look, if you're gonna own a monkey,
you can't just be taking your monkey to the coffee shop if you're just going back home.
No.
Or are you guys going somewhere together? Can they get car seats like kids? Should they be in a car seat or something? Can you put a monkey in a car seat? I don't know, man. I've never owned a monkey. I don't have any idea.
I mean, yesterday we were talking about movies involving animals and how that's the podcast Drew should do. There's been, I'm thinking of was it Dunstan Checks In? That's what I'm thinking of right here.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic one.
Yeah, Monkey Trouble. There's a lot of them.
Drew has no idea what Dunstan Checks In is.
That's a 90s one, Drew.
That's a 90s Disney movie where a kid hides an orangutan in a hotel he is at.
1996.
I was 1 year old.
Jason Alexander was in that.
You must have catched it on the TV.
Yeah, I was
Disney,
5 when it came out, so I didn't.
I caught that one in theaters. Old Dunstan Checks In.
Dunstan Checks In.
It almost sounds like this story sounds like something that would happen, that would come out of a movie for sure. It doesn't. You almost unbelievable.
The idea of just you're getting your coffee or you're working at a coffee shop and all of a sudden you're rolling your window all right, here's your non-fat, cafe latte, and they're just and then a monkey is attacking you. You're like, what the hell is happening? I'm going home that day, by the way. My general stance is like, if something like that, that's it. That's it for me today.
You can probably sue the person, don't you think?
I think absolutely you can. Imagine Starbucks has got a security camera near their window, don't you think?
I mean, definitely get the medical bills paid for.
Or if they paid with their card, it's not going to be hard to find out the person whose card they used. I think you could sue the person. Your monkey attacked them. They weren't doing it.
It's no different than somebody's dog breaking out of their fence, right?
Yeah,
and attacking you while you're walking down the street.
That's why you got to put those like "Beware of dog" signs on. Your gate.
Yeah, they're going to put the sticker "Beware of the monkey" on board. By the way, this is
beware of monkey. I'd be like, okay.
This was in Alabama, not Florida. I know.
Oh.
Shocking.
Enough, I guess.
Close. You said close enough. Well,
someone said they said was part of Alabama,
like outside of Mobile, Alabama.
I mean, we're close. Mobile, Alabama is maybe a 2.5-hour drive from Pensacola,
pretty close.
Florida. It's pretty close.
Is Pensacola right on the border?
Yeah, you're a half-hour drive from Alabama if you live in Pensacola.
Okay. Someone on the text line 913-586-7965 said they've been at a Sam's Club with two monkeys. Saw somebody with two monkeys in a stroller with a net over it.
You can't be bringing your monkeys to food
establishments. Hold on, here.
That's what they said.
I saw. The Target in Legends. I saw a monkey in a stroller.
No.
Dead serious.
Wait, you're just mentioning this now after all this monkey talk?
No. I think this came up before on the show one time.
Okay.
I saw there was a stroller that had a monkey inside of it at a Target, not by me. Dead serious.
What, with a diaper on too?
I don't know. You couldn't tell behind the netting, I guess, but I almost had to do a double take. It was
maybe it's a potty trained monkey, man. Oh. What?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem out of the question.
How do you potty train a monkey?
Is that actually possible?
It's hard enough to figure it out with kids.
This is like the movie now. That's the trash for the day. Up next, we alluded to a little bit during the Red Zone conversation, but I think we need to talk about Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco and what was very evident on Saturday evening out at Arrowhead. That's coming up next on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
For over 87 years, GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, has offered health and dental benefits designed to meet the unique needs of federal employees and retirees, military retirees, and their families. With over 2 million members and growing, GEHA continues to serve those members and families who serve us all every day. At GEHA, your health is not our business, it's our purpose. GEHA, proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Learn more at GEHA.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What is GMTVCC? That's a mouthful, but translation for GMTVCC.com is Give Me the VIN Classic and Collector Cars. It's a brand new buying division of Give Me the VIN, but it's for classic and collector cars. Experienced pro buyers will appraise an offer on your 1970 Hemi Cuda, or 1988 Fox Body Mustang, or your granddad's old 1985 square body Chevy truck. GMTVCC.com is where you go to get real money for classic and collector cars to get paid now. That's GMTVCC.com, brought to you by Give Me the VIN.
It's just not normal. The pain calls from chronic joint pain day after day. But some of you have dealt with that pain for so long, it's become your new normal. Short-term fixes are not working. Make the decision now to say no, not going to live with it. Get moving again in 2025 with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, joint preservation. Yes, you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine using an array of natural solutions like PRP to attack the pain from arthritis. Tens of thousands of people with pain have discovered these cellular treatments and they're living life again without that constant pain in their joints. Want to learn more about how you can refresh your joints, get lasting relief with these amazing treatments? Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299.
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer? You want the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. That's KCPI, the Kansas City Proton Institute. KCPI has a full suite of the most advanced imaging and treatment technology necessary to localize high-intensity proton beams. That's a critical part of maximizing cure rates while minimizing recovery time and long-term side effects. Proton therapy provides patients with the most advanced form of radiation treatments for cancer. It destroys cancer cells with supreme accuracy, reducing the risk of harmful side effects. KCPI has Kansas City's first and only system that uses pencil beam technology, resulting in precision targeting and less radiation to your surrounding healthy tissue. Proton therapy is now available in the comfort of an office at KCPI, making it more efficient and affordable than a hospital. So contact KCPI for the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. Don't wait. Get precision technology with the highest safety measures with KCPI. Online at kcpi.com.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. You guys can hit us up on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. In the 1 o'clock hour today, Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from The Athletic, will join us in studio. We'll get his thoughts on another Chiefs-Bills AFC title game matchup and what the latest might be on any other changes that we could see. It seems like they got out of the game pretty healthy, though. So, and I don't think this week we're going to have to spend any time talking about left tackle in terms. Not that Joe Thuney was great, but just I think they told us what they're doing, and there's no switching back. He's the guy at left tackle the rest of the way. Maybe we'll ask Nate though about the guard spot. I thought was interesting with the inactive list where Kingsley was active but Wadia wasn't, which I think tells us perhaps about the future a little bit.
Good.
That maybe they view Kingsley as the eventual Trey Smith or Joe Tooney replacement at guard more than anything else. So those are kind of things we can get Nate Taylor's perspective on. Officially, I will say, it came in from the individual that has the song pass from the Cody Gold garage sale.
He sent you the pass?
He sent it. He says no negotiation.
No negotiation. So he wouldn't
Blocked.
take $100 for the pass.
Cody.
I couldn't buy it back.
Cody. He said it's blocked, no negotiation.
God.
That comes directly from True Green Thumb, who has the pass. I'm just following the protocol, okay?
I want it to be very clear.
Someone says, remember, though, True Green Thumb, we all know the name now. If the Chiefs lose, people are blaming you. That's from the text line. He can live with that, though.
That's a lot of pressure.
I made the song because of the refs. You know why I thought the song wouldn't get blocked?
I would have liked it.
I thought we were all on the same page, that people are in this mass delusion.
He doesn't want to hear you sing, though.
About okay, well, that's fine. Can I ask one more question to True Green Thumb? If I had convinced Vinnie Pasquantonio to be the to do a verse in the song like I had hoped, if Vinnie was in the song, would he have blocked it? Because that
would
was
have been
also part of the reason I was advocating for the cameo, is I thought the likelihood of it not getting blocked, because I knew that block was hanging over my head. I thought if I got Vinny on, there's no way he could block it. He can't block Vinny.
Well, I'm just telling you what happened, man. You know, just telling you what happened. So that's the latest on that for those wondering. 913-586-7965. All right, I want to talk about the running backs because I think it did go hand in hand with our red zone conversation. And it's tough because Isaiah Pacheco is a fan favorite and has been really effective in his career with the Chiefs. He unfortunately early on suffered that ankle injury and battled back, and maybe that's what we're still talking about here. But I think it's very evident right now when it comes to short yardage situations, Kareem Hunt is the more effective back. I'm not saying Kareem Hunt should be getting 90% of the touches. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think the majority of the touches, it should
60,
be flipped.
40,
flip it backwards.
70-30, whatever.
It started with Pacheco in the game. I think Kareem Hunt should get the first crack at it in the game Sunday night, whereas out of the first 6, 7, 8 plays, Pacheco had 4 of the touches. I think it should be reversed. That's all I'm advocating for. And I know the numbers are out there. I think they're a little misleading. You can break it down over the last 6 games since Pacheco returned. I think Carrington put the numbers out.
They're like heat, right?
Pacheco has 54 carries and 193 yards, no touchdowns. Hunt has 53 carries, 195 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So almost identical numbers, but the 3 touchdowns. I think in crucial spots, though, who got the carry on the 4th and 1? Kareem Hunt. He's the more effective short yardage back. His vision is better when the offensive line maybe isn't the best and there's not a clear hole to go through. So I think Isaiah Pacheco, unfortunately, at this point, it should be a carry split, but it needs to be 60-40 the other way. 60-40 in favor of Kareem Hunt, not Isaiah Pacheco.
This isn't even meant to be in like the long-term nature of things, but this is probably just where we built someone up higher than what they were. Isaiah Pacheco is a perfectly good NFL running back. Kareem Hunt at his peak was a top 5 running back in the NFL. And I think what you see in these short yardage, there's not a lot of room to go situations, that's when you notice.
You look fresh,
You see the vision. You see the movement inside the pocket. You see, you actually see, you're like, oh yeah, that's why at his peak powers, he was one of the single best running backs in the NFL. And then obviously got himself in trouble. Nobody to blame but himself. Everything else that kind of came after that stuff and so on and so on. But we understand, Gold, why at the time Kareem Hunt is still the peak. And right now, because the offensive line is less good in the run blocking. For the same reasons they're less good in the pass blocking, because of the left tackle-related issues, they're not as good in the run game, which means they need someone to take 1 yard and turn it into 3 right now. If this were just a normal game with a healthy offensive line and one we could trust, I'd probably still be leaning towards Pacheco. But because of the nature of the setup of the offense, Kareem Hunt is the more productive back. When I think we watch in the important moments, I think he's better getting in the end zone. He's better in short yardage, which is the time I need the running game if I'm in Kansas City.
Right, and I thought Kareem Hunt having an extra week off, it was huge for him. He looked fresh out there, and the numbers bared it out. I know the last 6 game numbers are very even, but last game, 8 carries for Hunt, 44 yards, 5.5 yards per carry, plus the key touchdown and a key 4th down conversion. Isaiah Pacheco, 5 carries, 18 yards, just doesn't have much success. And you can say that's the front of the Texans, fine. I just think Kareem Hunt has shown that that's the guy I trust the most right now.
Isn't it weird, though? I think in a way, the running style for Isaiah Pacheco would maybe tell you if you need a yard, you give it to Pacheco, and he's just going to run downhill, and he's going to get you that yard. Where I think the vision point is a good one, where that's kind of just what Pacheco has done. Is not that he doesn't have good vision, but he is 100 miles an hour downhill. Just give me the ball, and I'm going to run you over. Where him not being able to get the yard is interesting. Where Kareem Hunt has the shiftiness enough to avoid a tackle, or to I don't know if it's body control. That might be some of it too, where he knows how to utilize contact to still manage to get a yard or to get a couple more yards extra, where you end up with the 5.5 yards per carry average or whatever it was.
I just think I think some of it is like Kareem stopped, like it looked like it was obviously Pacheco's job at the end because Kareem was cashed. He's, by running back standards, quite old. And like, I know he's not as a real person and everything else. I get it. He's quite a bit younger than me, I'm sure. I don't know his exact age, but I'm sure he's quite a bit younger than me.
Yeah, he's old and washed up, Cody.
But it's like, he's 29. That's a million years old at running back.
He's my age, yeah.
That's like a quarterback at Patrick Mahomes' age, not a million years old. A running back, that is, you have been in the league a while. He openly admitted that his body was starting to feel it, and now he feels good because he got a month off of football like everyone else. And so, yeah, Kareem Hunt is fresh and appears to be the better back. What's funny is I thought at first, when this started trickling in and everybody was watching the game and starting to feel the same thing, I think everyone collectively started to be like, they thought that they were going to have to like say something that people weren't agreeing with. Like that saying Kareem Hunt deserved to be the number one back in a timeshare still with Isaiah Pacheco was going to be like heard poorly by Chiefs fans. And it turns out it's the opposite. I feel like anytime we float the idea of Kareem Hunt as the lead back, 90% of Chiefs fans kind of agree in that department now.
Yeah, and it's a credit to Kareem Hunt, but also I think we have to. The injury clearly has played a role here for Pacheco, and maybe that doesn't mean that next year, heading into training camp and everything, that he's not somebody that can have his role and be as effective again. But right now, you're trying to win a Super Bowl, you're trying to three-peat, and he is not the best option at running back currently as it sits today. And in the offseason, they'll have to make decisions anyway. Pacheco will be back. I'm not saying that. He's got another year on his contract. But will they draft another running back? I think they should in the draft next year, or bring back somebody else. I know a lot of Chiefs fans will say just bring back Kareem Hunt. I think he's going to get more money than we think in the offseason from somebody despite his age. I don't think the Chiefs will necessarily be in that market.
I think he might be on still a one-year deal, but maybe not backup running back one-year deal here in Kansas City.
Yeah, I could see the Chiefs drafting a running back next year in 4th plus round or something.
It's almost time where we have to have that honest conversation about Isaiah Pacheco, and it's not even his fault because, like you mentioned,
the way running backs work.
You like that, and also the fact that he got hurt. It might have escalated it or expedited that entire process of, because going into the season, the conversation or the thought from you, Gold, was this is probably the last year that we see of peak Isaiah Pacheco, like him being as good as he can be. Shortened season, of course, because of the injury, and we'll see where things go next year. I guess maybe to confirm if that standpoint is true in regards to he just isn't the same. But I think you're right in the fact that they're going to definitely look to bring in another running back in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, they'll take another one in the 4th round this year.
I think we found you got to have two. I mean, most teams, unless you have Derrick Henry.
And one can be random veteran,
Yeah, unless it's Derrick Henry, and although they'll use Justice Hill too. And there's very few backs where Saquon Barkley, where you're just full go, that's McCaffrey, the guy all year. I mean, most teams have a 1-2 punch or try to have a 1-2 punch. That's just where we're at in the NFL. So, yes, that's an off-season conversation, but they will need to have somebody else to complement Isaiah Pacheco or to supplant him or whatever they want to do in the offseason. I still think this injury is playing part of the role here and why Pacheco hasn't looked as effective. And then, yes, they don't have the all-pro playing left guard currently.
Yeah. I mean, again, and that's just part of the challenge that you have when you're maneuvering. It stinks that you had to maneuver in this way, I guess, right? Like, that you had to kind of go to this versus just have your left tackle and everything else could go their way, but it's fine. Just play it more. Everybody knows that this is what it should be now. I don't think that I don't even think like they don't know that, because in the key running situations, they're still going to Kareem Hunt because he gives them the better chance to succeed. Pacheco could be healthy, fully healthy next year, and maybe still be right back to the lead back for Kansas City and have another year or two left on those legs before, eventually running backs make it a challenge. And this is also, it stinks because you're just never going to get paid.
Someone said, you watch, now that everybody's being critical of him this week, Pacheco's going to go out and Pacheco's going to have the best.
Is over.
Hey, that's fine. Watch Pacheco has the best game he's had in 3 months or something. That's definitely happened in sports before, and I think we'll all take it, because if that happens, then the Chiefs are probably looking pretty good if he's that effective. But Yeah, that also is something to keep an eye on. But right now, I think we're all watching the same thing out there. Thinking of how the Chiefs could maybe handle things differently, I'm not that upset with how they've handled the fourth down situation in the playoffs. You think that Andy needs to kind of copy the aggression? I think he's done that in the postseason on fourth downs. We went through the numbers earlier. They actually convert the fifth best on fourth downs. Problem is they don't go for it all that often.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's just,
part of it.
It's so hard to argue the aggressiveness on fourth down thing when this team has won like 17 straight one-score games, though. So if there's any team that's shown they can win and they got the right balance of aggressiveness versus being conservative, et cetera, it's this franchise. Under this current regime, they've won more one-score games, right, than anybody in the league.
They have
over the last 2 years.
And I understand, I really do get that you're like, well, I mean, they have success. They've won a ton of games. It has not generally been an issue for them to run into this. I get it. I understand how you could come to that decision and all that, but it's been the biggest thing of the playoffs that I think I've noticed in watching all the games. You and I, we've all agreed, we've all watched at least a portion of every single NFL playoff game
Especially the NFC side.
Sometimes I miss one here or there, but I think I've caught at least a portion of every single playoff game that has taken place in the NFL this year. Everyone took up their aggressiveness level 20%, and they were already more aggressive than Andy. So look, I'll just take the 20% increase like everyone else. And he'll still be less aggressive than a lot of the coaches, but still get there where he needs to. So we haven't talked about the national championship game last night, but I cannot, and I think Andy's smarter than this. Marcus Freeman kicking that field goal in the last minute of that game is an egregiously cautious decision. To the point,
I think there was 4.5
It's one of the worst
5
decisions I've ever seen.
No, there were 9 minutes left in the game. It was.
Yeah, it wasn't even the last minute. There was a lot of time left in the game.
But still, you're down by 16 at that point.
You're down 16. You've been down 30 the whole game.
Yeah, making a two-score game a two-score game.
But I've seen Andy in times like that just be like, well, I'll just take the field goal. I still got plenty of time left to get the ball back, get a stop, get the ball back, get a stop. Score on both of those, by the way, hypothetically, and be closer to scoring than the 5-yard line. And so everything else that comes into it, I don't want Andy to run into these situations. Field goals will not beat Buffalo. Maybe I'm wrong because last year's AFC title game was 17-10. Wasn't that the score last year?
I think that's right.
Yes. And they got in a knockdown, drag out, and the Chiefs' defense is playing really good again because Jalen Watson and the pass rush was obviously
they had the punch out from Snead at the goal line.
Yeah, or it could have been more.
Mm-hmm.
I always worry. I always worry about Andy's aggressiveness in the postseason because in the regular season it bothers me less because it costs them less. At worst, it costs them a regular season game, and typically it doesn't even cost them that. And he has been more aggressive in the postseason, so I probably shouldn't get too far ahead. But still, you're always looking for some level of increase because, look what it's done for the Commanders. It might be the single biggest reason why they're in the NFC title game is their success and willingness to go for it on fourth down.
Yeah, but that's been them all year, though. This is not Dan Quinn just randomly did in the postseason. The Commanders have done this all year. Dan Campbell got all the love and attention for it all year, but Dan Quinn has been doing it since week 3 of the season. They had a bad showing in week 1, and ever since then, Jaden Daniels has continued to play better. He kind of had his coming out party on that primetime game in the first month and a half or so of the season. This is what the league is trending towards more and more is ultra aggressiveness. Brandon Staley was kind of the first guy to really do it, and then he botched it because then he overcorrected the opposite way, and then turned out just not maybe the best fit there out in LA. But Dan Campbell, Dan Quinn,
maybe didn't have the
these coaches are doing it more and more, and they're players love that style of play. It doesn't mean it's a mistake-free decision. Doesn't mean that it's going to work every single time. Of course not. The Lions got beat at their own game against the Commanders the other day.
I did think it was interesting that Vinnie brought up that the analyst in LA is the one who's in Washington as well. And I think some of it depends on the quarterback too. Or I think if you're Andy Reid, you understand where you're cautiously aggressive in a way, but also I think it helps where I know that Jaden Daniels is a really good quarterback, obviously, but there's a difference between Patrick Mahomes and Jaden Daniels. There's a difference between Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff, where if you have the quarterback, you would think that maybe you're not as ultra aggressive as Washington is or as Detroit is, but you lean that way a little bit more because you have Patrick Mahomes.
It's been the opposite, though. I feel like Andy always takes that as we can figure it out a different way, well, if it comes down to it late, we'll solve the problem then, and Mahomes will still come through. If being less aggressive now means with 2 minutes to go, we have to turn things over to Patrick Mahomes, okay. I mean, we asked that question, Gold. Like, if he was in that same drive as Lamar Jackson, what percentage chance would you give him? Before the drive, someone was asking that, and it just said, what percentage chance would you give Mahomes to go down here and score a touchdown? I was like, I don't know, 80? 85?
In terms of comfort level, at least to that.
You know, like if you're, and I get it, kind of like in a weird way, that one makes a little sense because, like, let's just say it is Goff. He's out of the playoffs, so we can use him as an example. You know, what percentage do you give him to go the 80 yards and score the touchdown? Less, because you have less faith in your quarterback. So you always think you can get the points later. And if I'm Andy, I just don't know, man. This is also why they don't blow teams out. That's the truth. Is that if they wanted to just like go gung-ho right away all the time, they'd probably lose an extra regular season game, but they'd win a lot. They'd win by more. And Andy doesn't care about winning by more.
They were essentially 15-1 in the regular season, though. I know their final record says 15-2, but they were 15-1 when the starters were in. You know, and I keep saying it, 16 or 17 one-score games. So it's hard for me to think, man, you know, no, they know how to win games and make the right decisions when it matters most, more than any other team in football over the last 2+ years.
I do think
that's just a fact.
I think so.
To your point, though, Cody, and it might just be me not like waiting on it to happen, but when is that going to run its course where when you need to make a play out of all these games, they've been so good at making the plays.
Hasn't run out yet, you know? It's like an endless runway, apparently.
Is it going to run out where Andy could have been aggressive and you settled for a field goal, but it might literally cost you a game because you weren't aggressive enough? It hasn't come to that point.
Andy's lost games because I think of a lack of aggression. But.
Would there come to a point where you weren't aggressive and it actually came back to bite him, where it hasn't this season in particular? But, even going back to last year.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, again, Gold, I'm not here to like send panic shivers down everyone's spine because he certainly can win games with a limited amount of aggression. But I just feel like there is an ability to crank this up. And because it seems to be the theme of the weekend, you're not even like playing with your arms tied behind your back. Everyone's doing it. Everyone's agreed that we're going to go for every fourth down inside of 3 yards or 2 yards. Everyone is doing it. So like by doing it, you're just copying the same mechanism. And it's your job to be more successful in those plays, which doesn't seem crazy to me. When you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid trying to figure those things out. To Vinny's point earlier, it does feel like the Commanders have to get to fourth down in order to feel the pressure to score. I don't know what it is. They get to fourth down
because
so
what we
often.
discussed earlier on their third down. If it's 3rd and 8, they're willing to call third down differently, knowing Cliff Kingsbury knows he's got the support of his head coach Dan Quinn. One, he's just got his back if it doesn't work, but also Cliff Kingsbury knows that they're going for fourth down. So he the way he goes about calling plays on third down is just different than how a play caller might call it if he knows that his coach tends to not go for fourth downs. There's something to be said for having that freedom and flexibility if you're Cliff Kingsbury. And based on their quarterback, I mean, a lot of these fourth downs have been Jaden Daniels strictly, right? You know what I mean? Whether it's design QB runs or whatever, a bootleg, having that is a massive weapon. Other teams will do the tush push. They don't do that with Jaden Daniels a ton. What they do a lot is the misdirection almost, and where they have all the attention on one side, and then Jaden Daniels easily walks over to the sideline essentially for a first down.
I do think that there's a missing part of the league that makes this kind of an interesting conversation that makes it tough is because there's only a very small selection of quarterbacks, active quarterbacks with a Super Bowl title. And a couple of them are just irrelevant, right? Like Russell Wilson, right? Irrelevant. He's not winning a Super Bowl.
Rodgers.
Doesn't matter. Rodgers. Irrelevant quarterbacks. They have a ring, but they're irrelevant. Pretty much every quarterback they faced the last 3 years in the playoffs, these teams have nothing to lose. They have no Super Bowl titles. They are desperately trying to get over the hump. They have to act in some desperate way because they got nothing to lose. Washington's got nothing to lose. Philly's got nothing to lose. Bills have nothing to lose. They got 0 Super Bowl championships in their entire team's history. The Chiefs, they can play it close to the vest. They got 2 Super Bowl champions in the last 2 years. They got 3 in the last 5. They could get 4 in the last, whatever. They don't have to play with that same level of desperation or urgency as other teams. And so I think sometimes they don't. Because every team they face in the playoffs is more desperate than them. Because none of them have won anything in a very long time. Their quarterbacks only have MVPs or don't even have that or don't have Super Bowls because, again, the very few active quarterbacks with Super Bowl rings are either not starters like Joe Flacco or irrelevant quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers. Look, Stafford might be the only one that counts as he was on a relevant team and is a starter and has a Super Bowl ring. Is that the only guy left in the NFL? In the active that matters?
That has one, yeah.
Am I missing one? I can't think of one.
Oh, there's only a few anyway.
Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers,
Tom
Matt
Brady
Stafford,
left with them all.
Joe Flacco. Those are the only 4, right? And Mahomes, of course. But
I mean, there might be some other random guy. Foles isn't in the league anymore, right?
it doesn't matter.
I know he's a backup. I'm just making sure. Okay.
He might be a backup. I don't know.
Okay. I couldn't remember. That's all.
Yeah, he wasn't on. It doesn't look like he was on any base team.
Okay. Seemed like he could have still been floating
He hadn't
around.
played in 2 years.
Felt like he would have
was
started
in
in
Indianapolis
place of
in 2022.
Okay, so he hadn't played in 2 years. He'd still probably be better than whoever Drew was trying to get to start for Indianapolis. Who was it? No, wait,
He
not-
wants Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph.
Okay,
for Tennessee.
I would say.
I was like, what was the team?
I think Nick
what was
Foles
the
could do the job that Mason Rudolph has done.
Well, I think you're doing a better job.
We
yeah.
agree. We were pushing back. You
It's
said
just-
that the Titans should start Mason Rudolph
Because
next year. We said absolutely
yes,
not.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, yes, they should.
All right, let's get to what's trending, and then we'll also discuss the latest in the coaching world. Ben Johnson lands with the Chicago Bears. What the heck are the Raiders going to do, and how it could impact the Chiefs? That's next.
Cody and Gold.
I didn't sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Men, listen up. If you're often feeling tired, lacking motivation, dry, can't sleep, gaining weight, maybe you're noticing that loss of muscle mass, all of those things can be signs of low testosterone. You don't want to wait. You can just find out now at the Low T Center. They make it easy to get your levels checked. Simple test with their on-site lab that help you get the results back right there. It's not your typical doctor's office at the Low T Center. Their physicians specialize in low T testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT, for each patient. The experts at the Low T Center have over a decade of experience helping patients, and because it's very important, they do personalized treatment that are optimized for each individual patient, not just some standardized treatment where you walk in and you feel like they're treating you like anybody walking through the door. If you go to Low T Center right now, current patients can get a $150 referral code for each new patient that you refer. And at Low T Center, you can also get your health evaluated for treatment with prescription GLP-1 weight loss medications. So go get back to your best. Go to lowtcenter.com. Book your appointment today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Throughout the NFL playoffs, remember that FanDuel takes it to the next level, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Yes, $300 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same game parlays, and so much more. Plus, the best part, you get paid instantly when you win. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ today to join. Remember my promo code KFNZ and get set up with $300 in bonus bets. This is the best part of the NFL season. Don't miss a second of the action. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after free. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Can help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, it's Karen with Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Ready to replace that roof? We have flexible financing options, 12 months same as cash, and don't make a payment for 90 days. And that's just one of many options we offer. Get on the schedule now with our in-house Consumer Credit Center. One call does it all for flexible payment options, affordability, and peace of mind. Visit shamrockroofer.com. That's shamrockroofer.com or call 1-866-932-3545 today.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down. 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to rexbuyskc.com. That's rexbuyskc.com, and I look forward to working with you.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Championship Week coverage of the Chiefs and Bills on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer partner of your Kansas City Chiefs. Listen to the Chiefs and Bills AFC Championship game on Sunday with pregame starting at 2, kickoff at 5:30 with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Number one centers around the coaching carousel. We'll dive into this deeper after What's Trending. But Ben Johnson expected to officially be named the head coach of the Bears, introduced, I don't know if it's today or tomorrow, but he's in the facility. I saw a video of him already greeting some of the staff members that are in like the corporate office, if you will, as he walked in. He has been the OC in Detroit for numerous years. He was rumored to be a head coach in Canada in each of the past few years. He decided to actually leave this go-around. There was some people wondering, like, hey, man, if you don't leave now, are you going to be the hot name anymore? For what the Bears need, I think it's a fantastic hire. Doesn't mean that he's going to go on and lead them to Super Bowl titles. No, of course not. I have no idea. But when you have a young quarterback that's extremely talented in Caleb Williams, you have a young receiver in Roma Dunze, you already have DJ Moore, you need that offense to be legit, and that he's going to do. The rest of the stuff, I don't know. We'll find out. Now, he hired Dennis Allen to be his defensive coordinator, expected to hire Dennis Allen, but that's where things stand in Chicago. Also, Aaron Glenn, the other coordinator in Detroit, the defensive coordinator, seems like he's the favorite to land the New York Jets job. So Dan Campbell's going to lose both coordinators, it appears. And that'll be a fun offseason storyline. All right, what does Jared Goff look like without Ben Johnson? What does that whole team look like without that? And now Dan Campbell having to have a couple new coordinators.
I mean, it certainly does open up the kind of door for that and how they'll handle those. We know eventually that comes up with Patrick Mahomes or other guys, but yeah, at least that's the new thing for Dan Campbell, how he handles some attrition, certainly in his coaching staff. Next up on What's Trending, national championship game last night. Ohio State becoming the national champion, winning 34-23 over Notre Dame. They were an 8.5-point favorite, so they cover that number. Notre Dame came back late, tried to make it interesting. It was a blowout. And then Notre Dame tried to make it interesting, got it within a score. Still, we're going to have to get a stop and go down and score. We're unable to make that comeback overall. former Kansas State Wildcat, Will Howard, the starting quarterback of the national champion, made a huge throw on third down all the way down the field to Jeremiah Smith, which obviously sealed the deal for them at that point. So kudos to Will Howard. I still don't know how K-State fans are supposed to feel about it. I'd say if you liked him at K-State, be happy for him as the person for winning at Ohio State, but it's an objective win for him. He made a bunch of money. He got to go to a national championship team, and now he'll get to be an Ohio State legend. He'll get to just drink for free in Columbus and go to alumni events for the rest of his life.
Yeah, it's an awesome story, and it's not often. Very few times in sports do you have the kind of the fairy tale ending and a decision made and kind of forced out, if you will, as well.
He's forced out.
And you said it. He made some more money to go to Ohio State. Then he wins the Natty, and the way he played last night. We'll find out with the draft process. I'm not saying he's going in the first 2 rounds, but he earned himself
third, fourth round.
He earned himself some money last night in terms of I think he's going to get drafted a little bit higher because of a performance like that. That was really, really impressive. Next up on What's Trending tonight, we'll find out who is going to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. That is today. New on the ballot this year. I'm not going to name everybody. Some of the guys on the ballot: Carlos Gonzalez. You have somebody like Ichiro CC Sabathia, Brian McCann, Ben Zobrist. There's a couple of them that are more of locks than others. Also, 14 former players are on the ballot again after receiving 5% of the overall vote. Here's who was very close last year. So Billy Wagner's going to get in this go-around. He was already at 73.8% a year ago. He's getting in. You need the 75 or whatever. Andrew Jones, his 8th year, 61%. Beltran only got 57%. We all know the backstory there. A-Rod, same thing. I mean, the numbers for A-Rod and stuff are there, but it goes back to the steroids crap. 34% of the votes. So we'll see how many get in this go-around. Any candidate who gets 75% will earn election to the Hall of Fame.
Even if you're I've never understood the logic, but even if you're a no steroid user should get into the Hall of Fame. The hell's that got to do with Beltran? He cheated when he was a bench coach for the Astros. That has literally nothing to do with his accolades as a Major League Baseball player and why you would be voting for him, other than this stupid clause that writers hang on to forever, which is the morality part of it. Yeah. It's the same reason even people you don't like Kurt Schilling, were able to get
in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, of course they should be in the Hall of Fame. Just put him in. Stop trying to grandstand.
I think it'll be interesting. Where's the percentage going? Beltran's at 57.1 last year. This will be his 4th year on the ballot. Does it get to can he get above 60 this year at least and try to slowly inch his way closer and closer, or is it going to stay or go down? Because you don't have to vote for a certain number of players. You can only vote for 10, I believe. But Wagner will be one of those. Virtually everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people put on their ballot. So then who's next? Ichiro. Can he be unanimous? There's only been a few. Ichiro's getting in his first year. Nobody's going to not put him in. But we'll find out later on tonight. In general, the Baseball Hall of Fame is kind of a joke these days. But
I get it. Some leagues just put everybody in. The Major League Baseball tends to be a little more intense about it. Mm-hmm. But still, I just think that it's kind of silly some of the guys don't get in, and then they just decide for whatever reason.
That is what's trending.
I forgot.
Here on Cody and Gold. And
somebody here on the text line reminded me I forgot to check the time of the national championship ending last night. I know it ended before 11. But I will say.
I just got a Venmo. Huh.
Yeah, you know what?
Thank you for
I
paying
forgot. Honestly, I've got to send Drew a Venmo now. There's the $10 for the 2 of you.
After
that first quarter killed me.
That's all it took.
The game still ended at 10.
It did.
15.
10, 15, 10, 20. But that first quarter, it would have been 10:45.
It would have been 10:30 or 10:40.
Had the game not taken 10 minutes off the clock.
The first quarter,
first quarter, maybe NCAA history.
The first quarter ensured that Drew and I were winning our bet with you. I would say even without that, it probably finishes at 10:30, 10:45. But it was you gave us too much runway. 11 o'clock, man.
Well, you originally said 10:15, and I'm like, get out of here, and it ended by then. But it took a lightning quick first quarter.
It did
way faster than any normal first quarter for the NCAA. So. You gave me 2-1. That's why
I appreciate you paying off the bet. That's very nice. Some people take longer. No, I mean we were going to get to it today. I was going to see. I wasn't worried about it, but I appreciate it.
I'll be honest. I almost totally forgot. Thank you, Cody.
No problem. You know what? You get a coffee, hopefully monkey attack free on Major.
Yeah.
I don't think you drink coffee, but you get the point. Get an iced tea. What's your beverage of choice, Drew? If you're going to a drive-through spot.
Drive-through. I would say. I would get a coffee. Maybe actually.
I see him drink coffee.
Maybe a tea.
You usually go to, what do you get at Quick Trip? You go every morning to Quick Trip and you come back with this 32 ounce, looks like it's filled with Rooster Booster.
In fairness, Cody said driveway or drive through.
No, I know. Now we're just talking about
Starbucks, you can get an energy drinky thing.
In general, I'll get a Mountain Dew Code Red. That's what I'll get at the gas station.
Code Red, you get some Doritos as well.
No, but
he's gonna go burn out some midnight hours in gaming.
Yeah, so I was like, get the code red with the Doritos. Drew's got his Xbox controller.
I don't know if anybody's worried about this based on the refereeing stuff. And now I can't play my song
it's been
because
blocked.
it was blocked by True Green Thumb, which I made about the refs, and I thought we all agreed on. The official Super Bowl officiating crew has been announced.
Okay.
The head referee will be Ron Torbert. Does that move the needle for you?
don't care for Ron Torbert.
Oh, interesting. Drew's not a Ron. Did he do something? Did
he notoriously is not a Bengals fan in the least. He might be a Steelers fan, I think, is the consensus.
I don't believe he's officiated any of the Chiefs' Super Bowls so far.
Okay. Fresh
blood. The fact that the Ravens won't be in it either, I feel like
that's what I was
feel like
same thing.
I feel like there won't be any rigging given that the Ravens were not in it either. There's no AFC North teams in it, so it should be a clean game.
Because it turns out the AFC guy he's like 500 with, right? The guy in the AFC conference game?
For Sunday.
Yeah.
Who is that?
I don't remember.
Already Blakeman.
Oh, yeah.
Cleat.
Cleat Blakeman. That's a name, man. I can't believe Cleat Blakeman ended up as an NFL referee and not like possum hunter in like the deep south. Cleat Blakeman?
The last game that Ron Torbert did for the Chiefs was none this year. Yeah, he did not officiate a single Chiefs game this year.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
That's weird. He did not officiate a Chiefs game last year. The last game he officiated was January 29th, 2023, AFC title game, Chiefs-Bengals against the Chiefs.
No, hold on.
That's it.
And what happened?
The Bengals lost.
Thank you. I told you, Ron Torbert. It never fails.
He hates the Bengals. Did say that before.
Like, I know there's
the Bengals.
I know there's a rotation. I know there's a rotation, and so like you'll say, "Hey, the math is just the math." But I don't know. I find it pretty crazy. He hasn't officiated a Chiefs game in 2 years.
That is wild. It is funny.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it is funny to see the refs.
How does that even work itself out?
It's funny to see the refs who are not on the field, but the ones who are next to the coaches. Because I believe Cleat Blakeman.
Yes.
I can't remember if he was in Kansas City this past weekend. He looked so uncomfortable. He looked like he was ready to just go home and he was freezing. It looked like he was not. He did not want to be out there.
The last game, Torbert. Referee was that's exactly what the fullback or whatever, the bowling ball from the Chargers.
Exactly who you're thinking of when you say Tolbert.
Yeah, that's exactly
it's just like
right.
deep in the back part of your brain.
He officiated the Lions-Commanders game this past Saturday night.
They missed a face mask call.
They did. Oh boy.
And
a lot of people were complaining about Jared Goff getting planted as they ran back one of the picks.
The question is, of the two remaining NFC teams,
he's a blocker at that point. Get out of the way. You don't want to get hit.
Eagles and Commanders, he's done the last 2 weeks. He's officiated a Commanders game and an Eagles game. Yeah, conspiracies.
Well.
And then by the time he gets to the Super Bowl, he will have just done those. Is he in the NFC title game?
No.
Oh,
I don't believe so. Usually they don't have the...
Oh, they get to kick it for a week and then wait, or 2 weeks, I guess, in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good to know. You'd mentioned the NFL head coaching cycle. Ben Johnson of the Bears seems like the fit we've all just assumed was going to be the case for like a year.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson turned down a job. He clearly wanted a job where he'd have some personnel say, but more importantly, would have a functional enough quarterback that he could immediately hit the ground running and not go take some loser franchise with no hope. Now, I'll say, as a history, the Bears do not have a tremendous franchise record, although I guess they've been to the Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl like 20 years ago, probably. So they got more of a history than Buffalo in that department, or some of the others like Cincy who have never won one. But they haven't been involved in a very long time. This is about a perfect fit. Will it work? Time will tell. If I were the Chicago Bears and I was in charge of the hiring, I would have only gone Ben Johnson or stability hire. I would have only chosen that or like the former head coach who, like Dan Quinn level, right? I would just go McCarthy or I would go that route to just make sure that we're not a laughingstock organization anyway. I would have only gone those two ways. No other coordinator. I wouldn't have been Liam Cohen. Nobody else would have interested me other than Ben Johnson, I guess, in that department.
Yeah, I would not have kept their existing coaching staff last year. And I thought it was a mistake.
No.
We mentioned that in the summertime that Shane, Waldron wasn't going to work out. They should have just blown the whole thing up a year ago. They decided not to. Now they get Ben Johnson, and we'll find out, how the leadership aspect and everything, culture, all that stuff that gets thrown around, how that goes from fixing Caleb Williams, if you want to call it that, if he needs fixing, but like Caleb Williams Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, like the weapons they have there, I think Ben Johnson can make that work. They do need to draft some offensive line help or sign an offensive lineman. That is accurate. But I think if you take a look at the offense in Detroit, some people will just say, well, of course it was great. He had all these weapons. He had weapons. He also made Jared Goff into a potential MVP candidate over the last 2 years. And Caleb Williams is just more athletically gifted than Jared Goff. So I don't think it's crazy to believe that he can turn Caleb Williams into a stud in this league. I think he will. Is he going to win a Super Bowl? I have no clue. Is he going to win the division in the next 2 years? I have no idea. But it is the right fit at the right time for that organization, and it's a huge swing and a miss for the Las Vegas Raiders, who, for a lot of people, viewed him as the favorite over the weekend to go there. He ends up choosing Chicago.
Now it seems like whoever they choose, we know that that's not who they really wanted. They'll say, when they sit down in their press conference, they'll be like, this was our guy. From day one, we always wanted
Brian Flores.
I was going to say that guy from the Georgia,
Todd Monken.
We always wanted Todd Monken. Like, no one's coaching search started like our only guy is Todd Monken. That was never said inside a facility. Maybe it's the guy you end up going with, but he was never your top choice. And don't try to talk us into the other. Ben Johnson has been the single hottest head coaching candidate for 2 consecutive years, and for good reason. He has made Jared Goff look like an MVP candidate for 2 consecutive years. So kudos. Yeah. He didn't win the MVP, but he made him an MVP candidate for 2 consecutive years. It is always interesting because this is one of my favorite, is we get to learn whether or not Dan Campbell's system works no matter what, or if Dan Campbell's system requires an offensive guru, right, or at least perceived offensive guru in Ben Johnson to work. Because they'll still have the weapons. Gibbs will still be there. Jared Goff will still be there. Jamison Williams. Like, they're not losing their offensive weapons. They'll be a lot healthier on defense, too.
It's tough. You got to, if you're replacing your OC and DC in the same offseason, because most people think Aaron Glenn's can also.
Chiefs have gone through those in years, or at least back-to-back years or close, right? And
not the same offseason, though, of losing
back-to-back years,
OC and DC, like in the same off. That's tough, and we'll see.
I don't know if this is I don't want to say it's a precursor to say that Spags would be hired or Nagy would be hired, but the fact that we still have. How many openings are there? I mean, there's only been 2 that have been filled. There's still 4 openings left.
The way they do the process now, some of the rules with when you can interview in Canada drags on longer.
Because as far as I know, I mean, Cliff Kingsbury's name has come up, but nobody from Philly, other than, I guess, Kellen Moore's name has come up. Spags and Nagy have come up. Nobody from Buffalo.
Aaron Glenn.
Joe Brady.
Liam Cohen and Aaron Glenn seem like the next 2.
The fact that Liam Cohen hasn't taken a job yet, though, I wonder if, because
he's having a second interview today.
The Jags interviewed Spags, correct?
Yeah, first interview.
They did. I don't think it's going to be them again.
I just wonder if I don't know if it means that they're getting hired, but I wonder if we get to next week and nobody's still been hired yet, I wonder if they're really waiting to interview Nagy or Spags again. If there's maybe a
Tell me if I'm
look
wrong,
ahead to them
though.
getting hired or them having more interest than we might think than the other people.
Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe I missed it, honestly. I know Spags got a Raiders request. I don't think Matt Nagy got requested by the Raiders. You guys,
I don't think so.
I don't think he did
Yeah,
either.
so I don't think
So maybe
that's...
Spags, I guess. But I still think it's going to be... I don't know.
Right now, the odds offshore, and again, these could be wrong because they had Ben Johnson as the favorite 24 hours ago. But right now, offshore, the favorite would be Pete Carroll. He has the best odds currently to be the Raiders head coach.
Okay.
Brian Flores has the second best odds.
If I'm McCarthy and I'm Pete Carroll, it's the only job I wouldn't take. It's a death sentence.
Pete Carroll
It's
wants back
the
in.
end
Pete
of
wants back
your
in, though.
coaching career.
I think Pete Carroll wants back in on the sideline, though. Like, he might do it just because he's like, I already got the ring. Like, I don't need to, you know what I mean?
He'll make them immediately, tough. Like, they're a harder division game. Like, every division game would have a little salt to it. If Carroll's one of the coaches, Harbaugh's the other coach, and Sean Payton's the third, that's 3 Hall of Fame coaches in your division to go with your Hall of Fame coach. I don't think there'd be, a lot of, run over easy outs. I think they'd piss you off.
I think you have quite a bit.
I think they'd beat you a lot, but they'd still make you mad.
I think the floor's higher, but the ceiling's still pretty low. Like Ben Johnson, there's a chance he could have been the next great offensive mind head coach. Pete Carroll, he's up there in age. He's not going to be there for a decade, and ultimately, they don't have a quarterback. So until they have that, I don't care who the Raiders hire.
Is there any inkling of where Joe Brady? Because Joe Brady's been interviewed by multiple teams at this rate. I know he's got the LSU connection. I don't know if New Orleans is like, hey, you helped lead LSU to a national. You're part of the reason LSU won that national title with Joe Burrow and company. Maybe you've got recruiting interest there, the area. Not that matters in the NFL, of course, but people are familiar with his name.
I don't know if teams care about this. I'd always be so funny. I'm not. This is not to make me seem smarter, but I could have led that LSU offense to the national championship game. Are you kidding?
Ed Orgeron was the head coach, in fairness.
I could have won a
great,
national championship at OC with that LSU team.
True.
And that's not me saying I'm a genius of a coach. I'm just saying if you gave me a team with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow,
Justin Jefferson,
and Justin
Terrence
Jefferson,
Marshall,
and
Clyde
Terrence
Edwards-Helaire.
Marshall, I could have been the OC
Patsy
for that
Queen.
team. Hey, guys. We're going to run like the 7 routes I remember on Madden, and that should probably cover us. Don't think we're going to have to get real deep into the playbook on this one. You guys just go beat a bunch of 20-year-olds who aren't nearly tall enough, fast enough, jump high enough to guard any of you all.
Is there a little bit I don't know. I know that Ben Johnson, I think we all feel the same, that he's going to be really good. Is there also a chance that he's Brian Dable? I know that Daniel Jones I know that Caleb Williams and Daniel Jones are very different from each other, but is there a chance that, because Brian Dable was like the wizard who helped develop Josh Allen. Josh Allen's fine without him, and he's got Joe Brady as the coordinator. Not that Jared Goff is going to be, Josh Allen, but is there a chance that he's just Brian Dable where it's okay?
Every year, dude. Every year there's Shane Steichen was the hot offensive coordinator name. It's not like he's turned the Colts around or whatever.
Yeah. So much of it is
but Kevin O'Connell was, and he has with the Vikings, so who the hell knows?
So much of it's situation, but I think actually if I'm a Bears fan, the reason why I'm happy other than just landing Ben Johnson is that he did have a choice, and when the situation is so crucial for you to succeed, he chose that situation, meaning he didn't get the GM that he wanted, and it tells me he loves Caleb Williams. It tells me that he really thinks Caleb Williams is one of those special dudes in the league. That's why he gave up what he could have had control-wise, we assume, in Jacksonville to a certain extent with Bulky, or out in Las Vegas where they don't even have a GM yet. But yet he went to an organization that has questionable ownership, and they already have a general manager who a lot of Bears fans were kind of done with too. And now they're at least happy that he was able to land Ben Johnson. So Ryan Poles, of course, will have another year to succeed or two.
They must have a lot of respect in building, because Ryan Poles and Chris Ballard both could have a strong argument for have been fired by now, right? Like, easily could have made the argument for any of them to have been fired by now, and yet not. And yet not fired yet. So, they must have a lot of internal respect for that, because it's funny, like any other thing. It's like, you can't be awful at at just one part of the job. You can be good at lots of parts of the job, like John Dorsey, and still get fired because you have no cap space and people skills. But, and you can be really good at the other parts, and it doesn't matter. If you're really bad at one, and in Ryan Poles' case has been really bad at developing quarterback play, which is the toughest thing to do in the NFL, admittedly, but still pretty ugly.
All 32 brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer partner of your Kansas City Chiefs. So these tie in together. We all know that Roger Goodell recently has been speaking more and more about moving it to a 20-week schedule or an 18-game schedule, but most people think it'll end up being 20 weeks at that point, and then eliminating one of the preseason games.
Yeah.
We all know we used to have 4, then it went to 3, and potentially we could go down to 2. The NFLPA is already making a mistake again. They're not pushing back.
Classic PA.
There's a report out there from NBC Sports that the NFL Players Association is hurting for money. You're like, how is the union hurting for money? Well, remember, they have normal employees. It's not just they represent the players, but there are normal employees in the office. And they've now been sending out buyout notices, and they're basically they haven't laid off anybody, but they're trying to get 30-plus-year-old employees 30-plus year employees out because, they're trying to cut costs. And this has to do with a lawsuit they lost with Panini. They breached a contract. They owed like $8 million, the union on the office side of it. And so the adding games means more money for the union as well because they get a cut of it. And so there's a belief out there, NBC had a good write-up on this, that they've already screwed up, that they're not pushing back against the 18-game schedule the way they could, and so they're going to end up not really getting much out of it. But they need it to happen on the players' union side. I'm not talking about Patrick Mahomes. I'm talking about random office person, random executive at the NFLPA.
I think that's probably how it's been going for a long time for the PA, and what you're probably pointing out is going to lead to the same thing. They won't have the right leadership, they won't have the right people in place, and then they'll end up giving up the 18-game fairly easy. Goodell's not even afraid to talk about it publicly. He's openly saying it.
He was on Jason Kelsey's ESPN Friday night show or whatever it's called.
Yeah, we could use an 18th game. And I mean, he's saying that to a former player who probably is like, man, we do not need that many games to go with it. For me, on all 32, I want to point out something that's happening again with Ben Johnson, but also should be the way that coaching hiring practice is, because it is a true luxury. Kansas City's taught me this, Philadelphia's taught me this, and the best teams in the league. The one thing you should try to do if you're an established head coach is hire a former head coach to be your defensive coordinator. The job has gotten too big. For the longest time, what we allowed head coaches to do was also be the general manager. Job got too big. I think NFL head coach is too big of a job to worry about both the offensive side of the football and the defensive side of the football. So if you're an offensive-minded head coach, you should target former NFL head coaches to be your defensive coordinator. I don't care if it's Staley or Flores or Spags or Vic Fangio for the Philadelphia Eagles. There's been a lot of success in the NFL of taking those guys who used to be head coaches and just putting them in charge of the entire side of the football. They got them hired as a head coach the first time.
I think there's truth to that. Now, some of them were just great DCs. Like Vic Fangio didn't need to become a head coach to be a great DC. He was already considered one of the great DCs. But overall, I get what you're saying. I would agree with it for the most part.
It's like having a second head coach and they just handled the side of the ball.
Like Robert Saleh, great coordinator, not the best head coach. And it looks like he might end up going back to San Francisco as their DC if the head coaching stuff doesn't work out. Basically, he's trying to see if he can get another head coaching gig. If not, it looks like Kyle Shanahan's going to bring back Robert Saleh to San Francisco, and he'll be a great coordinator. Some guys are just better as coordinators in this league. I get what you're saying. I guess my only thing would be, in order to become a head coach, they probably were already a great defensive coordinator in this. But
I mean, I get it because it's like they would have had to have been a great DC in order to get a head coaching job. That's how Staley got the job or whatever. It just seems like they're giving them more responsibility. Like when they were DC before, they were a DC, but like in the traditional sense, where like you also still got to tell me what you're doing. I don't even know if Andy knows where that side of the building is, and I don't care. I don't care if he ever opens a meeting room door that defensive backs are meeting in. He doesn't need to. Steve Spagnuolo, in my opinion, by all accounts, is the head coach of the defense, and he handles everybody on the defensive side of the football. If Andy doesn't know the second-string linebacker's name, I don't care. If he passes Jack Cochran in the hallway and he's like, does he play for us?
Damn, just throwing
That's fine with me.
Friend of the show.
He's the backup.
Friend of the show, Jack Cochran.
He didn't do anything to deserve it. Playing board games, right? When they're playing Settlers of Catan or something?
I think that was him. Yeah.
I think it was
up at Insane Show when we talked to him.
Okay, so the Baltimore Ravens just got eliminated, but never fear, they
Juice,
are
I'm very happy about that.
He was
that Bill Hader thing, like
he was relieved.
You seem happy. Me? No.
He was relieved that another AFC North team didn't go on a run.
Yeah,
He hates the Ravens.
That is nice. But no, never fear. They're still very confident in Lamar Jackson, as they should be. But Patrick Ricard said it's only a matter of time before they win a championship with Lamar Jackson, saying, quote, "It's inevitable. He's going to win a Super Bowl, and I want to be a part of it. It just sucks that it hasn't happened yet."
Tell that to Dan Marino.
I'm going to be honest. It's taken a little bit now. Are we sure that it's inevitable? It might have been inevitable 2 or 3 years ago.
Inevitable.
I don't know about saying that now. That's a bold claim.
I would say that about any conference, Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback, and I can sure as hell tell you that. I wouldn't call anything inevitable as long as Patrick Mahomes is in this league.
Also, I don't know if I popped a blood vessel in my middle finger, but I was so to give some background on this.
All right, yeah, let's hear what happened.
Yes, please.
So the music is playing, and I'm like playing drum. You know how you like play the drums with your knuckles sometimes?
Oh my gosh! Did you really just slam your finger down on the desk?
No, I'm not doing. I'm just doing it lightly. I look down. Or I stop, I look down, and there is a bump, like a healthy bump. It's swollen. My middle finger is swollen at the knuckle right now. And it freaking hurts. Like, I'm dead serious.
Unbelievable.
I don't know what I did.
Bad luck sometimes.
I don't know what I did, but it is...
You hit your finger on the board?
No, I'm playing the music's playing, and I'm, you know how you hit
your finger on the desk or something, maybe.
I'm playing the drums to the music, like in the background, and I'm not doing it hard or vehemently or anything like that. I look down, and my middle finger really hurts, and it's swollen.
This just happened?
I went and asked Spec. That's why I left.
You trying to go home?
What? No.
You like an ice pack?
No, I asked Spec.
Go get the man some ice.
I asked Spec if he thinks I popped a blood vessel because it's not dislocated. Like I can still like it's fine, but there is a bump on my middle finger, and it actually to the top. It is painful.
Text lines.
It happened.
Text line. Text line says whoever has the song blocking. If Cody will go kiss Drew's finger to make it better, he can have his song play.
Oh, no. What kind of price tag is that?
No chance. Cody's not doing that, I don't think.
Nor am I allowing.
Drew's not allowing
Nor am I allowing that.
On video would be the weirdest thing. Because, we have the stream. I'm saying it'd be on video. Someone says, Drew, is that really how you hurt your finger? They're wondering if this didn't occur at home.
No, it's happened just now. I'll show it to you guys during break.
Put you on IR for a Hand injury. Someone else going to have to run the board. Finger injury.
I mean, I don't know what it is. It's painful, though.
Are you capable of sending us to break, Drew?
Oh, yeah. I can send you to
Use
break.
your other
It's
hand,
fine.
See your other fingers, All right, up next, let's talk about the national title game last night. There's a lot of trickle-down effect from it and narratives, that's for sure. Plus, one thing that did not occur when the Chiefs took on the Texans. That's next.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Attention car shoppers, Kevin Harlan here with Rob Side of Rob Side Ford in South Kansas City. Hey Rob, what's going on?
We are making 2025 the best year in Rob Site Ford history, and we are doing it with 4 simple steps.
Simple is what I love most about Rob Site Ford. So Rob, what's the plan?
It starts with Rob Site Ford's non-commissioned sales staff, Kansas City's lowest prices on brand new Fords, the best trade-in values, the biggest selection we've ever had. With those 4 steps, it is my personal mission to make Rob Site Ford the easiest, most value-driven Ford dealership in Kansas City. No BS.
That's why Rob Site Ford is the only dealership I'll send my friends and family to. But you're forgetting one thing.
What's that?
Rob Site Ford is Kansas City's top-rated Google Ford dealership.
Good call. Can't forget about that. Check out Rob Site Ford in South Kansas City at 135th and State Line, ROBSIGHT.com.
Your skin tells a story. At KMC Dermatology and Med Spa, we understand that stress, time, and life can leave their mark, but it's never too late to refresh, renew, and restore your skin. With 25 expert providers across multiple locations, we make glowing skin easy. Same week appointments? Absolutely. Select Saturday appointments available? You got it. From medical dermatology to advanced aesthetic treatments, we're here to help you look and feel your best. Schedule your appointment today at kmcpa.com. KMC Dermatology and Med Spa, beyond the surface.
Now that the holidays are over, the cold weather's here, and the kids are back to their routines, we're loving Hy-Vee's Aisles Online. They make it so easy to get our groceries. All you have to do is download the app or go to Hy-Vee.com. Choose your store, select your items, and Hy-Vee does all the shopping. All you got to do is pick up your order or have it delivered to your home. And listen to this. Right now, you're going to get $10 off any $125 Aisles Online purchase. Save time, save money. What could be better? Only at Hy-Vee.
It's cold outside, and the cupboard is bare. No worries. Let Hy-Vee do the shopping with Aisles Online. It's easy. Go to Hy-Vee.com, choose your store, select your items, and schedule a convenient pickup or delivery time. Right now, get $10 off any $125 Aisles Online purchase. What could be better? We do the shopping and deliver your groceries. You stay warm and save money. Download the Aisles Online app or go to Hy-Vee.com today.
Real Stories with Hellsberg.
After we met and we started dating, Nancy and I lived 150 miles apart, and I would drive my old jalopy car, and it was roughly a 3-hour distance. It took 3 years I drove across that state back and forth dating her every weekend.
Persistence.
And I would have never stopped. I had a lot of energy back then. 36 years ago.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at bluekc.com.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
This is the story of the one. Who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first. Because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-217-1316 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-217-1316. That's 800-217-1316. Again, 800-217-1316.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
I was coined almost Andy Reid when I was on a radio show, and it's stuck with me ever since. Renner Garage Door can help you not get stuck out in the cold this winter. Book your annual maintenance or get a free replacement quote today.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. Drew Nixon injured.
Playing hurt.
He's
hurt or injured? That's the old adage, right? Are you hurt or are you injured?
I'm
he's
injured.
hurt.
I'm injured.
So injured means you can't play.
He's hurt.
Oh, well, then yes, I'm hurt.
You're hurt. Finger injury.
I
went and grabbed ice during the break.
I don't know what happened.
He
I know what happened.
He literally hit his finger on the table.
I was playing the drums.
Going like this.
I don't know if I popped the blood vessel.
And his knuckle is swollen now.
You really are getting closer to 30 with these kind of injuries. Hurting your knuckle just working in a radio job? Imagine explaining the workman's comp on that.
I was playing fake drums at work. And
I wasn't even playing that hard,
though. Unbelievable.
If I did pop, if it is a pop blood vessel, is that like actually a problem, or is that just something?
It heals over time.
No, they heal.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Might be a little sensitive or whatever.
Yeah, but it'll heal. It's not like it's forever. You got a pop blood vessel and you're screwed. Screwed for you.
Well, I didn't know if I needed to like go to the doctor if anything, like they need to take care of it.
Go to the doctor. I mean, it'd have to look pretty weird to. I think it'd have to get severe in a hurry.
If it swells up, even worse, and then it's not just a blood vessel.
Honestly, man, I don't think I could tell the doctor that's how I got hurt. I'd be too embarrassed.
I was playing air drums and I was like, I can't on the desk.
I can't. I was like, I can't do this. I'm sorry.
Man.
I would tell him I'd make up some other thing, like I was saving a baby from under a trapped car or something. My finger scraped the ground. Can you take a look at it, Doc?
Someone says, what do Drew and Joe Burrow have in common? Small hands, hurt little fingers. Someone says you get injured like Joe Burrow. Is right.
I hope you're going to be okay, man. I really do.
Isn't that sad? Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are as healthy as can be, and they still can't beat Patrick Mahomes. Meanwhile,
I have also accepted my fate that the song is not going to air.
It got blocked by a listener
FM.
he bought the pass. It got blocked today. Can't be on this show.
So I have placed it on social media upon editing a thing. And I don't feel like it deserves to just be there.
Well,
but pass is the pass.
I'm going to listen to it, Cody.
I respect the thanks, man. Alex, you should probably just honor the block and just
never hear it.
Never hear it. Just veto it permanently in your mind. Also, the person who vetoed it should just veto it permanently, you know? Don't do yourself. You can just avoid my social media page, and then you don't even have to run into this trouble. You know?
We'll get to the random question of the day in just a little bit. The national title game last night, for the first quarter, it was great. Like, the first quarter, really entertaining. Long drive to open up for Notre Dame. Like, here we go. And that was about it. Yeah. Ohio State was dominant throughout. I understand late in the game, it got to a point where if a third down stop would have occurred, then Notre Dame could have got the ball back and would have needed a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie the game. There was never a point where Notre Dame, after that first quarter, had the football with a chance to take the lead. It was not all that competitive. I actually watched one episode of Landman during. Everybody's been telling me to watch that. I watched that in the third quarter. Then I got an alert, and I saw you guys in our group chat were sending a bunch of texts about this field goal thing, and I was like, what is going on? Next thing I know, all of a sudden it was an 8-point game, so I watched the final 5 minutes or so of it, and that was it. But it was disappointing. This is why I think the whole weird victory lap thing about Wild Card Weekend not being competitive was a mistake for everybody trashing the NFL.
Yes.
Because bad games happen all the time. In this case, I'd rather my national title game not be crappy. It wasn't a good game. I'm sorry. It wasn't.
No, I mean, I got it that they gave some breath of life at the end of the game. But again, breath of life, clinging on, hoping, praying that something would go your way. And I know that we're all kind of disappointed because we think Ryan Day kind of sucks. So
someone asked me to say, Gold, do you still think he's a jerk, and are you going to give him his flowers?
Winning makes him not a jerk?
I think he deserves credit for coaching. Ohio State fans are crazy. They wanted him fired for losing to Michigan and all this kind of stuff. Do I think he's not an a-hole now? No, why would that change just because he won a national title? No, I still think he's a jerk, but he's a hell of a coach. That's fine.
No, that's different.
Will Howard is who I'm happy for. Will Howard.
I am happy for Will
Kind of
Howard.
got kicked out of K-State, and I understand the decision-making process. They're hoping Avery Johnson is going to be that dude. And when you can't spend $20 million on your roster like Ohio State,
you got to develop.
You got to have a dynamic quarterback that is capable of carrying a football team.
But it's still going to hurt a little bit to watch.
And Avery Johnson can do that. But I'm happy for Will Howard. He leaves Manhattan. He gets paid. He goes and wins a national title. He also improved his draft stock last night. So all around, couldn't have been a better night for him.
I actually if I were K-State fans, I don't think I'd lure him as Kansas State's great who won a national championship. I don't think it's a great day for Kansas State fans or something. I'm not pretending that. But I also think you can recognize what their plan was and what is the economics of the sport. Yes, Will Howard is a good enough quarterback to win a national championship with. That was proven last night. Will Howard is a good enough quarterback that you recruited and developed to win a national championship. You deserve some credit for that out of K-State. But not at K-State, he's not good enough. At K-State, you have to aim higher. The reason why you have to aim higher is because you don't have a $40 million NIL budget like Ohio State has. You can't pair him up with the 18-year-old future number 1 overall pick in Jeremiah Smith and 78 other versions of this. That's just kind of the economics of the sport working against you, unfortunately. There are 10 teams in the SEC and probably 10 in the Big Ten who can spend more than you at the positions around quarterback. Will Howard had a great game. That pass to Jeremiah Smith. What a moment for him. That's going to be the moment of his college career. That sealed the national championship game.
Yeah, it was really impressive. I do wonder if a lot of discussion around the timing of it. Some of it is we're in Kansas City and the Chiefs are going to their 7th straight AFC title game. But in general, a lot of people outside of Kansas City acknowledge there was no buzz for this game. The problem is the game's played on January 20th. Once you get way past New Year's, a lot of people are done with college football. It's NFL postseason time. This is not hating on college football. But it's just what can be done because there wasn't buzz around this game heading in, let alone if the game was great or not. And so I don't know what the solution is. Do you start the college football season earlier? Do you not have the gap? What do you do here to fix that? Because games taking place on January 20th, right after divisional round weekend in the NFL, it's always going to get lost.
They have so many gaps in the college football playoff. I have no idea why they make it spread out this long.
It's a week.
But before that, there's other times though before the college football playoff starts. Some people had a month off before they even played a game. You can tighten the whole college football playoff schedule up. I really do. I try not to do this because it's hard because we watch enough sports. We know that really good coaches and really good players can make mistakes, can make errors, can make bad decisions. I'm going to try not to because I was really impressed with what Marcus Freeman did at Notre Dame. That decision to kick that field goal with like 8 or 9 minutes to go in the game is, and I called it in our text group last night, Nathaniel Hackett bad. Like, I'm worried you're an idiot bad. They were down 30 points literally the entire game. They were 5-6 yards away from a touchdown, and they decided to kick a field goal. They inevitably missed. I hated it before the miss, for the record.
It was even worse after the miss.
Yeah, the miss obviously made the decision worse, but they should have gone for it anyway. Because if you score there and get the 2-point conversion, there's 9 minutes left, and for the first time all game, you're only down a score. You only have to get one stop. I don't think coaches ever think about how many things have to go right when you get cowardly in the fourth quarter. So if you kick the field goal, you're down 2 scores, and now you're still down 2 scores. So you're down 16, now you're down 13. So you have to stop Ohio State, something you have not been able to do. Score a touchdown. Stop Ohio State again, and score another touchdown in 9 minutes. Does that seem like something that's going to occur in a game in which you have 13 total points so far, and they already have 30? You're going to do all that in 9 minutes? It's just not feasible. Or, instead of that, you could just score a touchdown now. Then all you got to do is get one stop against Ohio State. And if you got to get 2 because they score a touchdown, well, you're in the same boat. Teams are it was just a really bad decision.
The first quarter was great. I thought we were in for a great game. The first quarter was phenomenal. I know it was only 2 possessions, but they were both really impressive drives, entertaining football. There was good flow to it. There weren't penalties. It was just nice first quarter, and then Ohio State pulled away. They were clearly the better team. It's amazing what the Michigan game honestly changed their entire season. The fact they lost to Michigan and the flag was planted changed everything for them.
This is also, I also, look, it doesn't change who's going to win the national championship. I'm sure if you told me right now, if I looked at Underdog or you looked at FanDuel and we looked at the 10 favorites to win the national championship, I'm sure, without looking, and I swear to God, I haven't looked. I guarantee you it's Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Oregon. Am I pretty close so far?
I don't know the odds, but probably, yeah.
It doesn't fundamentally change who the teams are who can win the national championship. But in the old system, I'm not sure Ohio State gets to be one of the 4.
Well, no, they wouldn't. And we know that. It's not even it's a fact. They were the 8th.
Knocked out.
They were the 8th ranked team. So they would not have been in.
In the old system, a team that did win the national championship and gets to hoist the trophy wouldn't even have gotten a chance to compete for that trophy. I like a playoff system. Some people don't because it's a very American way to watch sports. I like it. I like the openness of if my team's in the dance, they got a chance to win.
Well, I think the playoffs are great.
Yeah.
Well, and if you think about
there's people who hate it because of they think it should go to the people who earned it this whole time. I don't know.
The big thing is that you want the games to all matter. Where essentially the Michigan game didn't matter as much as it normally would have for Ohio State because they would have been knocked out. But if you watch,
they hung a flag.
That part doesn't matter. It's just that if they'd have lost, them losing to Michigan, it would have kicked them out. But if from watching the season all year long, Ohio State and Oregon were the 2 clearly best teams in the country, all the way up until they were the best teams all year long. And for Oregon, it just I think that the quote unquote real national title, if you really want to label it that, which I don't like when that happens, but it was Oregon and Ohio State again because whoever won that game I thought was going to go on to win the whole thing, and evidently it was Ohio State.
This is the way the playoffs work in this system. Is like I'm sure you could say this if you're any other AFC team. Your draw matters. Ohio State got a good draw. Like a favorable-ish.
Ohio State's draw also sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't nearly Notre Dame.
They still had to beat Tennessee and Oregon at the time. It was this is pretty brutal.
Notre Dame's was probably the easiest draw.
Penn State's was the easiest draw.
Penn State and Notre Dame had the easiest of
that was
the two for sure.
Because they got to face each other too.
Penn State got to play. Was that SMU and then Boise State, and then it was Notre Dame or whatever. So.
Yeah, I mean there are a couple of teams that had far easier draws than Oregon, who was the best team all year. Everyone agrees was the best team the entire season.
Yeah, Oregon got
opening it up. It's probably just opening it up so some other essentially like football blue blood can win it, but at least it's something.
Well, let's get back to the Chiefs though for a little bit here in our championship. Coverage on Cody and Gold is presented by Bud Light, the official beer partner of your Kansas City Chiefs. The wide receivers this week, I think we all recognize are going to have to be more involved. It was surprising if you flip back and you realize that Xavier Worthy was the only wide receiver that had a catch. On one hand, Travis Kelce went for $117, so it didn't matter.
Nope.
My guess is the Buffalo Bills are going to do everything possible to make other guys have to be involved to the point where, hey, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us, but we're not letting Kelce go for $117. And certainly he will not be as wide open as the Texans allowed him to be. But Xavier Worthy found a way to get involved. Xavier Worthy also had his best catch of his NFL career, one of the best catches of the entire NFL season for any of the wide receiver room, considering the 50-50 ball. That was something that they haven't had a whole lot of over in recent years. We've discussed it with McCole Hardman at times, and going back last year to MVS, that the ball tracking skill in the air is not something they've had really since Tyreek Hill.
It's been a weakness.
Yeah.
I mean, a straight-up weakness for this team a number of times. It depends on how, this is the true maybe litmus test of glass half full, glass half empty. Because glass half empty is, just real quick, Hollywood Brown got one opportunity on a deep pass he should have caught. That was a great ball, and he didn't. And DeAndre Hopkins had 0 catches for 0 yards. And no other member of the offense mattered at all. Glass half full is Xavier Worthy can be counted on the rest of the postseason run, which means now teams are going to try to work on covering Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy first, leaving DeAndre Hopkins and Hollywood Brown in single or lesser coverage or on the second or third corner, leaving the backfield more exposed. They're going to key in on those guys in this Buffalo game, and if they win into the Super Bowl, and that's going to open things up for these guys who didn't show. I don't expect Hollywood Brown to be shut out for the entire playoffs. Less certain about DeAndre Hopkins. He straight up didn't play. Do we think he's hurt? Why wasn't Hopkins on the field, I guess?
Makes me wonder a little bit.
We can ask Nate Taylor coming up in about 10 minutes, but, is he hurt? Haven't heard from him in a while, so that part will always kind of linger for me a little bit. I'm more worried about DeAndre Hopkins' ability to show up in the postseason than Hollywood Brown, who did at least have a ball in his chest and was open
different,
deep.
Though, than a year ago when we would say, hey, X player is getting all these snaps with no production. DeAndre Hopkins is not even getting that many snaps.
No, he played 18,
you know what I mean?
20%, right?
Well, a year ago we would say, oh, man, MVS is getting all these snaps, not doing anything. DeAndre Hopkins is just not getting any snaps. I'd be more concerned if it was the other way around, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Random question.
How's your finger, Drew?
Yeah, that's first question. How's your finger?
Still, is it throbbing?
I mean, it doesn't really hurt. It's still swelled up. I've had ice on it.
Mm-hmm.
I did think for a split second,
rest.
That I kind of dislocated it, and I was trying to push it. I was trying to feel around
if you jam it, don't start yanking on it. That's not going to help.
Here, actually, why don't you come in here and have Cody just completely pull it?
As someone who is
better now,
as someone who's jammed fingers but also actually dislocated them, you'd know if it was dislocated. You'd know.
I mean,
it'd be way out.
The way that it was protruding, the way that the knuckle
That's a jam.
was protruding out, it looked like
you jammed your knuckle going like
and
this.
If you go yanking on it because you think it's dislocated and you're trying to put it back in yourself, if it's jammed, it's going to make it worse. That's not the question today. It's no medical-related questions for you, Gold, for you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965 or over on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Please like, subscribe over on those channels. We like to interact there as well. It is a question I had today. We were talking with Vinnie about weather. We were talking about it before the show, so I'm going to take it to the air. If you had the choice of attending a sporting event in either this temperature, 0 degrees, or attending a sporting event in 100 degrees, which of the two would you prefer? We got into this before the show. I had, hypothetically in this, because the Chiefs game's not really going to be 100 degrees, I had said a 0-degree Chiefs game, regular season against the Giants, or a 100-degree Royals game against a regular division opponent, right? So let's take the opponent out of it. It is just 0 degrees for the Chiefs in a meaningless game or 100 degrees for the Royals in a meaningless game. I'll take the Royals. I'm not sitting out in this.
I'll take the Chiefs game, 0-degree weather every single time for a couple reasons. One, at a Chiefs game, you're standing up the whole darn game. You're cheering actively throughout. You're jumping around. You're high-fiving. There's a little more energy around constantly throughout the game. At a Royals game, and it's July, it's 110 degrees. There might only be 12,000 people there with you, so you're not you're not going to have the same environment. I think you're sitting around too much. There's not much many ways to cool you down. I can go hand warmers, I can go long johns and all that. At a Royals game,
it's crazy. It's so cold.
At a Royals game, 110 degrees. What am I doing, Cody? I'm wearing the thinnest shorts and shirt possible. That's about it. There's nothing else for me to do.
You can drink cold beverages.
Yeah, for about a minute they're cold.
Well, I mean, the problem is in the cold weather from the
I got
warm
hand
warm.
Are there such things as cold? I mean, there's the cold towels you can do and everything, but I've got hand warmers. I've got the Under Armour like long john tight things or whatever. I've got boots. I got wool
They sometimes
socks.
got
I got
the
all
fans
that.
with the water mister going on at a Royals game. You know, you can find a cool down spot
at a Chiefs game. Not just like, hey, walking outside, which would I rather have. I would choose the warm weather. At a Chiefs game, 0 degrees every single time compared to the alternative.
What about you, Drew?
I think it's 100 degrees easy. I think I used to.
This is the Florida part.
I was going to say I think I used to be more to the other side where you can always put more. You can always put more clothes on. You can't always, I mean, if you're in shorts and a t-shirt or a tank top, then you're kind of stuck there. Obviously,
we say that about clothes.
Royals
Like,
game.
there's a limit before, like, you can't even use the restroom. You got too many layers on. You know,
I
there's
think
not
that's a
like
fair
an
point.
unlimited amount. Now,
Take
I'll say
the Royals Chiefs thing out because some people are picking it because of the Chiefs first. Chiefs 100-degree weather or Chiefs 0 is what you really need to do.
Yeah, that's
and I'll choose
that's
0.
Equal playing.
And I'll choose 0.
Chiefs 100.
Chiefs 100. 100%. Chiefs 100.
Shorts and flip flops and a t-shirt. I ain't going out 0. This weather's miserable.
Well, I think I guess another good example. I don't remember
dripping with sweat.
Someone says it probably depends on how big of a sweater you are. Like if you're a big sweater.
Some people are, yeah. That's true.
I don't remember what. There was a NASCAR race that I've been to back in Indy. Had to have at least been 90. Tank top, it's a cutoff tank top. Like you might as well look like you're just hanging around outside at the house. Like you got the shorts on, cut up tank top. You're sweating your ass off. But you know what? You're outside. If there's a little bit of a breeze as well, like everything in Royals game, there's a little bit of a breeze, cools you off maybe a little bit.
Seems like it's a real mixed bag.
100
half
degrees,
the people are saying 0,
it's
but
not
half are
close.
100.
Yeah.
It probably just depends on if you're a winter or a summer type. And I know you prefer summer to winter.
For sure.
Certainly.
I feel like I've just kind of, having lived in Kansas City and gone to many Chiefs games, cold Chiefs games, I feel like I've mastered how to stay decently warm at a Chiefs game.
I also don't want to...
I have not figured out how I'm supposed to not be
Baking.
feeling disgusting and sweating and hot and miserable and getting lightheaded and all this kind of stuff at a 110-degree game.
I don't want this to sound like mean or rude or anything like that, but I really think your weight actually has something to do with it. I'm dead serious.
Alex isn't big.
It would be the opposite.
I
think I'd be freezing, right?
Yeah.
I think he's saying bigger people would prefer the cold.
I think that's what he said. I think he might be right. Typically.
I am skinny. I don't do the cold anyways.
Yeah, I don't know that you could get warm. What do you weigh, like 155 pounds?
Less than that.
Jeez.
What do you weigh, Drew?
I haven't weighed myself in a long while. Probably 145.
Oh, we've got this chart over here. We can start tracking. It still has the Cody and Gold numbers from 3 years ago.
Give me the warm weather because...
Someone says the Lions preseason game was 95 plus, and it was brutal.
Oh, a preseason game, too.
Someone says 0 degrees, no doubt.
Give me the 95 game.
I don't know.
Give me the 95-degree game.
Like, I'm not trying to stand
Someone's
out
right.
here.
You'll burn your leg on those seats at a roast in the sun.
I'll get I'll lose a toe out here.
You're not if you're bundled up. Some of the unfortunate people last year were not smart, not covering their ears at the Dolphins game. What did you expect was going to happen? You sit on some of those plastic seats at Arrowhead when it's 110, you burn your leg.
See, this argument, people would be like, you're just getting like terrible swamp ass sitting at the stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, let's be honest, you got 17 layers on at the Chiefs game. I don't think you smell great when you get home.
Not sweating, though.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like, it's all just like caking in there, slowly cooking on the inside.
Yeah, but you go home and you take a hot shower and defrost your body, basically.
I'd say cold showers. We lived in some places when we were growing up that didn't have any AC, so we just had box fans. Dude, in the summer, I would take a cold shower in the middle of summer and feel like $1 million.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I also think that, you get a little suntan, I'm trying to, you get tanner as well. There's also a perk there. Come on now.
Yeah.
You get to wear some shades.
I mean, you can wear plenty of
sunglasses in a game.
in the wintertime, too. It's sunny. It's going to be
I'll wear
sunny.
sunglasses when I leave today.
If it's freezing cold, I'm better off wearing, I might as well wear like a ski mask or some ski goggles instead of sunglasses.
All right, up next, Nate Taylor. We'll ask him the same question, our Chiefs insider from The Athletic. He's presented by Mark Ferguson. He's going to join us in studio. We'll get his thoughts on Chiefs-Bills for another AFC title game.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Enter now at overheaddoorkc.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorkc.com.
Missouri sports fans, I've got good news. Underdog is available in your state. Underdog is the place to cash in all your takes during the playoffs, just like we did this previous weekend or last night. Got a three-parter last night. Certainly doesn't hurt the budget. There's over 5 million happy players, $2 billion won. I learned yesterday just how easy it is to hit that win now and cash out on those real cash prizes all playoffs long. With their champs game, you can win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats, touchdowns, yards, interceptions. Chris Jones, for instance, 0.5, higher than that on his sacks, can get you 1.5 times your money over at Underdog. And with Underdog, it's the only champs platform that I talked about. The power to cash is in your hands. You can either keep it riding with your entry or tap Win Now to cash out whenever you want. And with their double flex option, you don't have to get every pick right. You can even take 2 L's and turn them into a W. Underdog is the best place to play. Sign up and deposit now with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. And if you're in Missouri, you'll get an additional $50 in bonus cash when you play your first $5 entry. That's promo code TAPP. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. $10 deposit minimum. See UnderdogFantasy.com for terms and conditions. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
Many people consider selling their homes independently to save on real estate commissions. While this might seem appealing, especially in today's market, independent sellers often overlook the significant financial benefits of working with a professional. Collaborating with an expert like Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty, can greatly enhance your profits and overall experience in the selling process. So contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. You can Google Dawn and her team at Sharp Homes Team or visit them at homesforsaleandkc.com.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Championship week coverage of the Chiefs and Bills on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer partner of your Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, it's Trey Smith, and you're listening to the home of the back-to-back Super Bowl champs on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you on your home for the Chiefs. 96.5 The Fan. Coming up in about a half hour. We were joined earlier by our NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantonio. You'll hear our conversation with him. He's in Orlando. We found out a little bit of insight on a Disney World trip, although you didn't actually go to Disney World. We'll also get his perspective on the NFL postseason, how he sees the narrative around the Chiefs. And then he also filled us in that you attempted to get him to be on your newest song.
I did.
And that song has been blocked by a listener who bought the pass during the garage sale, so that song is not going to ever air on the show.
No, Nate.
It's only on Cody's personal Twitter account.
If I had asked you, so like last night I was working on this song.
The reviews are in. I haven't heard it. The reviews, everybody's saying we made the right decision to block it.
Oh, wow. That hurts a little, but that's fine. You can listen to it later, Nate. It is on social media.
Okay.
Without revealing the song, because I don't feel like I should be like giving too much about the song because the person vetoed it, I had asked Vinnie to do a short ludicrous verse and sent him the rewritten lyrics for it. If I had asked you, would you have done it for me? You know, you cover the NFL professionally, and this is about how people complain too much about the refs. So you probably shouldn't, but you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, look, it's a silly sport where the ball isn't round. Okay, don't ever forget that. Like, it's a silly sport. All right, we care about where your head is parallel to the center's. You know what? So again, the ball isn't even round. It's silly. You know, the silliness about like, well, I don't know. Should we be playing games in the snow? It's like, yeah, because it's silly and it's fun and it's entertaining and like
it's different. I don't want to watch the same thing.
Yeah, like I'm not asking basketball players to play out. Like that's why they play basketball. They play inside. Baseball can't. You can't throw a pitch in baseball when it's snow or when it's wet. I mean, for obvious reasons. But no, it's a silly sport, and I don't know if Vinny has the voice inflections to pull off a ludicrous style.
I gave him the lyrics, and he was strongly considering it.
Is that a yes from you? You would have done it?
I probably would have done it, yeah.
There you go. You missed the opportunity.
If you give me enough time, if you give me the right mood.
I'm going to give it. I gave Vinny. It was clear. He was like, he was at dinner. You could tell he was like, and you could tell he was like,
vacation.
You could tell he was like soft launching it to the group. This is my sense of how long it took to answer. He said, ha, 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 ha. What a question. That's not a no. Then I followed up with some stuff. We get in there. He asked, when are you trying to do this? Again, not a no at that point. Then what I think happened, Nate, is you soft launched to the group. You asked the wife. You ask a teammate. You ask around a little bit until enough people are like, do not do this.
I told Vinnie it was
you're
a
out.
smart career decision not to do it. He was worried about the locker room, it sounded like. But anyway, you'll hear our conversation with Vinnie. As you guys can hear, we've got Nate Taylor joining us in studio, our Chiefs insider from The Athletic. He's presented by Mark Ferguson. We all make mistakes. Let Mark and his legal team make the best of them. 816-221-1750. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's nauseating at this point in time, but where do you stand on the official stuff right now?
I don't care.
Yeah.
Honestly. I don't know. Now I sound like Mike Tomlin. We do not care. I'm sorry, were the Texans going to win this game?
No.
First
could have done them 10 favors. They probably weren't winning.
I mean, enough people have said it that I've seen, so I don't feel like I have to repeat them. But no. The referees are human beings. I think that's something that we should also try to acknowledge, even though I know nobody wants to hear that. They don't get replay, kids. Like in the press box, I'll take one example. In the press box, that looks like roughing the passer. Helmet snapped back, he fell down, kind of hit him high. Like
you see the behind angle, and you're like, no wonder he called it.
Yeah, letter of the law. I'm just saying from above. Like I have an even better viewpoint than the actual official, the actual referee who makes the call. And I'm like, yeah, that looks like roughing the passer. Then you see the replay and you're like,
fringe.
It's a lot of gray. It's a lot of gray area. Not black, not white. Plenty of gray. Okay, cool. I used to write about, and this tells me how long I've been doing this, but I used to write about one of the things that always blew my mind about Patrick, when this is like 2018, 2019, is he cracked the code based on the rules that he would actually turn his head away from the defense and look at the referee and say, any holding? All right, I'm going to get out and scramble. Like there's multiple videos of him looking back while the play's going on and being like, you going to throw a flag? Any holding occurring right now? Okay, then I'm going to get out and run, and I'm going to use the
smart
open field. I'm going to use the line of scrimmage for my whole body has to be past line of scrimmage, not just like half my body. So I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to use the first down marker in the sideline to my advantage. And now that I'm in year 7, year 8, if I use the sideline as like, quote unquote, the 12th defender, but actually it's supposed to force them to pull up, I can use that to my advantage too. And the rulebook says I don't have to slide I can slide whenever I want.
Yeah, it doesn't say you can only run 7 yards and then you have to slide as a quarterback.
Or you have to run in a direct line and then slide. Like I can change directions. I can go backwards, forwards. I can juke. I mean, no one talks about this, but like I can juke. I can go backwards to where two defenders collide into one another. Like that's what happened earlier this year with the Saints. It was not as cool as when Mike Vick did it in a game-winning situation in overtime against the Minnesota Vikings. But I know the rules. So, and these are human beings. So I'm weaponizing what's legal in the rule book against human beings who are trying to be as objective as they can, but you can't do that at that level with that amount of speed, quickness, physicality involved. They're going to make mistakes. Like, it's fine, but you will have a myriad of plays to change the difference of the game. You want to know what my biggest anger was when it came to the referees? It was not about Chiefs Texans. Get that out of here.
Okay.
The worst call this past weekend, was in Buffalo.
The OPI one?
Yes, where he literally shoves Tre'Davious White to the ground because Keon Coleman realizes, ball's in the air, and I have not created any separation.
And not just doesn't call OPI, calls it on the other man.
Yes,
it gets him,
and it's right before halftime. So that's a difference between potentially 3 points and or 7. The Bills, to their credit, take advantage of the penalty, get a touchdown. Now they're up 21-10. The entire game script is different in the second half based on that penalty. That penalty had more of an impact than any of the penalties that were or weren't called in Kansas City. So again, these are human beings. They're trying to do their best. I just wish people would acknowledge that the most. Like, the Texans had plenty of opportunities. Okay, Mario Edwards Jr. did an amazing job to even notice that Patrick's scrambling, right? Grabs him by the foot, which you're kind of not supposed to do based on the rule book, but he is a scrambling quarterback at that point, so technically he's a runner. Grabs him by his foot, by the ankle, not trying to do anything crazy, but like, come on, man, stop running away from me. He threw a touchdown? Like, that's why the Texans lost, kids. It's not because of the referees.
When you look at what they did in this game, the pass rush obviously stands up. A lot of those were late in the game, and the Texans' offensive line is bad. But it's still got to be a good sign that Karlaftis is shaping up to be a big-time playoff performer, similar to that as Frank Clark. Chris Jones remains a monster, and I don't know what level of health Charles Omenihu is. I know in postgame he joked he's not 100%, but the tape looks that way. He also has created, since his appearance, obviously the trio of those three will make pressure on even, I think, Buffalo's offensive line, which is very good.
Yep.
Probably the best left in the playoffs, arguably, I think.
Yes, yeah. I would have given maybe a push on Detroit, but they're not in the dance anymore.
Yeah.
With this pass rush, now that you have the flexibility and the fact that, he's come from the injury looking really, really good, that being Charles Omenihu, you just now have someone who can win one-on-one consistently. I thought the tackles were probably the strength of the Houston Texans. And then George Karlaftis just beats them constantly. One of the biggest third downs in the game is Chris Jones going from inside to outside to beat a rookie tackle.
I know, he chose his spot too.
I mean,
beat him fast.
And it beat him really fast, and it was a third down in the middle of the field. So, you're preventing the Texans from even having a chance to put points on the board. And then Charles Omenihu had one of the quickest strip sack fumbles I've ever seen. I was just like, did they block him? But you look, and it's like, man, that's really good technique. That's understanding their scheme from his film study, and knowing that CJ probably wants to get the ball out of his hands quicker. The fun about all of this is, hey, he only had one guy to throw the ball to. Uno. Okay, maybe you could throw the ball to Dalton Schultz, but for some reason they had him blocking.
Karlaftis.
So stupid.
A bunch of times, just so many times.
At that point, don't even line up because you've already given Spags the advantage. It's like, so you're keeping your tight end in, which is one less person in the route,
and a player that we're bad at guarding,
right?
And we're bad at guarding,
and you want him to block one of our best pass rushers? Okay. And we're still blitzing, by the way. Not like we're going to change anything. So from a schematic situation, the Houston Texans were really overwhelmed in the second half. CJ still holds onto the ball too long, but I get it. You only have one guy, Nico Collins. You only have one guy that can be reliable for you, and it got to have a situation. At least Josh has a couple, and I think some of the best ones are actually at the running back position.
Yeah, James Cook is something else.
He's had a great year.
Yeah, and I know Amari Cooper hasn't played a ton, but he's still capable. Keon Coleman will be a new matchup. He didn't play in the first matchup. He's obviously tall and athletic. Yes, you still have Shakur, who's going to be your wiggle guy in the middle of the field from the slot standpoint. They actually used him a lot in the first matchup on behind the line of scrimmage passes. Just get him the ball as quickly as you can in space. See if he can make somebody miss, i.e. Chamari Connor and Najee Johnson. Josh Allen will hold on to the ball too, but he can do more with it than C.J. Stroud. So that'll be the thing that I'm interested in. Can Chris Jones create such pressure early that he pushes Josh into the lap of George Karlaftis or into the lap of Charles Omenihu, because they got no sacks on Josh Allen in the first matchup, and that's one of the reasons why they gave up 30 points.
It was week 11. It was a while ago. There's a lot of different personnel you highlighted on the Bills side. We know the Chiefs didn't have Jalen Watson or Omenihu in that game as well.
Yep.
Or Hollywood, right?
Hollywood on the offensive side. But when it comes to looking at Josh Allen, how much do you think Leo Chenal becomes a key in this game? Based off of the idea. Everybody talked about the 4th and 2 call.
Your job's to take care of Josh.
Everybody talked about 4th and 2 that ultimately iced the game for the Bills. And were they in a spy? Were they not in a spy? Was it just a great job by the Bills? How much is that going to be the deciding factor in this game?
They have to. I didn't write it in my story today on The Athletic. I actually should have mentioned it, but it seems so obvious. There was, if I could comfort Chiefs fans, it would be this with the defense. They will be highly motivated based on, that's the only time they've given up 30 points, I believe, all year, right?
That is correct, yeah.
It's the only time they've given up 30 points
we
all
don't
year.
count the Denver game.
No, God, no.
That game doesn't matter.
Remove that from the record
They're
books.
15-1, okay? They're 15-1.
It's a 16-game season this year.
Remove that from the record book. So it was the only time they gave up 30 to a legitimate opponent when they were trying to win the game. They had no spy. They didn't have one of their, you could say, their second best cover corner in Jalen Watson. Didn't have Charles Omenihu, arguably your second or third best pass rusher. And Spags, all he did was show cover zero. That's it. There were no zone blitzes. There were no simulated pressures. There was no spy to monitor what Josh Allen was doing. The way the Bills countered that was the deep ball to Amari Cooper because Najee Johnson was on him. And that cannot happen on Sunday.
No, and they won't use Najee as much, I don't think, in that situation. They're still getting Jalen Watson back.
Right. So Jalen Watson, again, if he gets through this week of practice well, he should play more snaps. I think he played, 40?
50 or 40 or something like that.
40 of the defensive snaps. Which
They're
is
all in the second half. They saved him for the more important part.
Yes. And hey, if something were to happen, Najee Johnson got more experience. It was fascinating to me that they chose Najee Johnson over Joshua Williams, who was just special teams only. I thought those would have been reversed in terms of roles. They only did cover zero blitzes. The touchdown to, I think it's Curtis Samuel on cover zero. Much of Josh Allen's yards is on cover zero blitzes. So you could try that again because now you have maybe better coverage with Jaden Hicks growing, with Jalen Watson being available. But I imagine that there's going to be different flavors of blitzes while also having better personnel, including a spy. And Leo, if you touch him, hit him hard. The quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard. You the only guy we got, pound for pound, that can withstand this man in a one-on-one situation. And in particularly, too, we saw this with the Ravens. The Ravens knew you get inside the 5-yard line, he ain't giving the ball up to nobody else. So, Leo, if you're in a gotta-have-it situation on 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line, it's you and him, man. Meet him at the hole and see if you can withstand it because they don't really have another defender who I think is mobile enough but also strong enough to maybe prevent Josh Allen from running as freely as he could when the Chiefs were not spying, the 4th and 2 play where they did zone and the zone worked and then he ran right by them.
I guess this will be a conversation we probably have later in the week. Josh Allen has played the Chiefs in an AFC championship game, but it's been 3-4 years now since they did it. At some point, does that pressure get back to him? It's been a while since he returned to this game. It's been a while since it's been a couple of years since he played at Arrowhead. That came in the 13-second game. Certainly, at some point, is it too far removed to be well, he's played in this AFC championship game. He's only made it at this round once. It was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Mahomes just plays in this game every year. I don't think it means anything, no sweat off his back. But at some point, I wonder about Josh Allen. You always fear the same thing. It's you turn back into what you do when you're at your worst, which in his case is making a bad red zone decision.
Right. Or, and give credit to Josh. He didn't play out of his mind on Sunday, but he managed the game very well. He was decisive when he did make decisions. He used his legs to the team's benefit, and he didn't turn over the ball. No. That's everything we asked of Lamar Jackson, literally. And he couldn't go drive for drive. Basically, he couldn't hold serve because Patrick has been in this situation so much. Obviously, you can include Travis Kelce, Chris Jones. I think one of the biggest things for the pass rush, I just shouldn't have mentioned this earlier, Alex, is the crowd noise. This will not be played in Buffalo.
Fair, yeah.
Can the offensive line and Josh Allen communicate when it's this, I'm assuming it's going to be insistently loud. Yeah. And there's going to be, that linebacker's walking up, that safety's walking up, who's coming, who's staying back. You're trying to identify where the pressure might be coming from. It's a lot harder to do that on the road when you got to go silent count versus being at home in more comfortable conditions and the offense knowing that the crowd is going to support them. It's tough to know that this is it's not tough. It's actually exciting. Let me rephrase that. It's really exciting to know that this is the last stage. It's the last level. New Orleans is a whole different season. because you get 2 weeks. It's in ideal conditions. You're not home or away. It's a neutral site.
It's got all extra nonsense with it. They know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a totally different, it's almost a separate season in and of itself, but it's the last game and everybody knows that. So that's why it's important. Obviously, you play for a championship. But in the thick of this, in the thick of rivalries and knowing who you're playing and what did they do this week versus us, and Josh even admitting, I think in December after a win against the Patriots, hey, man, we don't want to give everything away because we got to save stuff for later. Later's now.
Yeah.
We need you to show out. We need you to put on a cape. We need you to play at your absolute best but not turn the ball over. We need you to use your legs but not to the detriment of the team or put yourself in danger from a physical standpoint in terms of injury. And this is the last hurdle for him to be that guy that leads the Bills to the Super Bowl for the first time since 1993.
Yep.
I mean, there'll be plenty of pressure, but he's at least ready for the test now, to where the Chiefs, in essence, their season begins on Sunday. It's such a great contrast that is what has made this rivalry so compelling.
One final thing is we got Nate Taylor joining us here in studio from The Athletic, our Chiefs insider on 96.5 The Fan. On the offensive side, one wide receiver had a catch. It was Xavier Worthy. I know Travis Kelce went off for 117. Diop snaps did not increase the way I think a lot of people thought they would. What do you make of the wide receiver breakdown? Is that hey, he's not healthy? Is that still, hey, they're kind of saving him for the Bills and then Bills are about to see something they haven't seen all year kind of thing, or what?
It better be the latter. I haven't gotten a sense from DeAndre that he's battling through anything. It's not for comparison. I know Jawan Taylor's still not 100%.
Okay.
Still play fairly well, despite his injury and the fact that they don't want to have anybody play right tackle.
Yeah, sure.
Heck, Wanya was inactive, so.
Correct. So it's not like that. Man, it was such a good route, such a good concept. They knew it was going to be man coverage. And I think partly due to the wind and partly due to my man being hyped up, the ball just went over his head, So instead of a touchdown, you got to kick a field goal. That was Patrick's first real downfield pass after the impressive Nico Remigio return and the Samaje Perine fumble recovery. It would have been great had Hollywood caught that pass that was on target, that was accurate. Defender made a good play, and then thankfully Travis Kelce bails you out literally on the next play. I want everybody to understand that the Houston Texans secondary, in my opinion, is drastically better than the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, they avoided Derek Stingley and others.
Yes. And still were able to throw the ball to open spots in the middle of the zone, i.e. Travis Kelce, and still found a couple places where they could get the ball to Hollywood down the field, and they still used Xavier Worthy in the short game, lateral movement, misdirection type of stuff. There was a couple screens where they threw it to Xavier, and I was just like, they have yet to put that on film. That's interesting. To use his speed in a way that the Bills have used, Shakir's speed. Guys, Lamar Jackson, when this season was literally on the line with two capable pass catchers being Isaiah Blakely and Mark Andrews and no receiver you would trust. They had Rashad Bateman. They didn't have Zay Flowers. Went right down the field when the Bills knew you was passing. Somebody should take advantage of DeMar Hamlin's range. Someone should take advantage of some of the eye discipline issues that occur with Tyler Rapp. Tyler Rapp is not a good safety. The system allows him to be a functional safety. We all remember, too, that I think it was Xavier Worthy had about 25 yards of space on that deep corner route. They should incorporate DeAndre Hopkins to move the chains. Hey, run some slants, some digs, some sit-down routes. Maybe soften them up, but you got to beat them over the top. I don't care if it's going to be 20-something degrees on Sunday. Patrick always says, that shouldn't bother me, especially when you get into, second, third quarter. Once you get comfortable with the wind conditions, which is why that first throw to Hollywood was so interesting, because it was wow, we don't really see that. But it's it is windy, and you haven't played football in 23 days, and I think you were juiced. I think he was like so like pumped that he was like, yo, you got to calm down. You got to get back into like normal game speed. Those holes are there, man. There's a reason why Denver went right down the field and was like, yeah, let's throw it over their heads. Wow, he's open. It's like, you do know they have guys who can run really fast down the field. The Chiefs have faster guys. So if they don't beat them over the top, that'll be one of the big that'll just be one of the big mistakes, one of the big like missed opportunities they have, because I'd be shocked if the Buffalo Bills, unless Josh Allen's just amazing, that they will get to the Super Bowl with a good front seven, but with the secondary that I find to be like, somebody's going to take advantage of that sooner rather than later, and the Chiefs have the opportunity to do that because that's not Kel Hamilton back there. That's Tyler Rapp and DeMar Hamlin. You should go over the top 3-4 times if you can.
Nate Taylor from The Athletic, our Chiefs insider. We'll be keeping an eye on your work throughout the week. Appreciate it as always. He's presented by Mark Ferguson. We all make mistakes. Let Mark and his legal team make the best of them. 816-221-1750. Up next, our VidFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantonio, joined us earlier today. He told us how the trip down to Orlando is going, plus his thoughts on the rest of the NFL postseason.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This weather can just cause damage to your roof. Let's make it obvious. And the storms last year certainly could have done it as well. Century Roofing is going to take care of those problems for you. Don't delay and schedule your repair later. Schedule it today. Have them take a look so you can get a sense of when and what needs to be taken care of. They're taking care of some minor repairs on our roof. Didn't need a full roof replacement. We had them take a look at it because we're like, well, we know they'll work with the claims department. We know that they'll help us file a claim if that is what is needed. Century Roofing is celebrating 35 years in Kansas City. Been voted best in Johnson County for a third year in a row, and they're the kind of roofing company you can trust with your project. Because they're in year 35, they're going to extend their extra roof replacement parts where they're going to give you some of these resistant upgrades on your roof for the normal price of a shingle. So you can continue to do these things with Century Roofing and make sure you're taken care of. Because of those 35 years, you know that you can trust them. Trust the pillars of strength and go with Century Roofing. Go to centuryroofingkc.com and tell them that Cody sent you. Hey guys, it's Cody Tapp, and it's a new year, so time to keep that promise of getting your testosterone levels checked. If you're lacking energy, muscle mass, or have low libido, it could be low testosterone. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer, and nobody matches the experts at the Low T Center. People have different levels, so don't settle for the standard dosage. Get a personalized treatment plan at the Low T Center. And for current patients, Low T offers a $150 referral credit when you refer a new patient. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
GiveMeTheVin.com. Our expert buying team knows exotics, luxury cars, classics, diesels, lifted stuff, hot rods, inside and out. We buy them at GiveMeTheVin.com. It's a one-stop shop to get into a pool of absolute experts. Join my YouTube channel, John Clay Wolf. GiveMeTheVin.com. They don't call me America's best car buyer for nothing.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Casey's has 8 new coffee roasts that have been described as having rich aromatics that entice any palate. But, we're not sure what that means, so we just call it darn good coffee. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. Get a free any-size coffee with Casey's Rewards. See Casey's Rewards for details.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Give me one good reason why I should call DM Law.
How about 3 great reasons you should call us? 1, it's easy. You can hire us today on your phone, or we can come to you. 2, it's fast. We can start helping you today. 3, the results.
DM Law got me $331,000. Mike's got this.
I've got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.
I don't feel so good.
You do feel hot. Dayquil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
Dayquil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, Dayquil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's grape.
Try new Dayquil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Used as directed.
What's better than 1 win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get 1 line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
When I wake up
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
I pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
I was going to almost Andy Reid when I was on a radio show, and it stuck with me ever since. Renner Garage Door can help you not get stuck out in the cold this winter. Book your annual maintenance or get a free replacement quote today.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. He's had songs written about him without asking for it.
Pasquantonio, I want it. Now it's time for Pasquantonio.
Mythological creatures and sandwiches have been named after him.
Beefy and Italian.
And he also thought the Devontae Adams trade was going to save the Jets.
The damn Jets.
Welcome back to the show, our FL insider, Vinnie Pasquantonio.
Well, we got to head straight to Orlando. And I'm hoping it's sunny and 70 degrees and just nice time to be down in Orlando. Vinnie Pasquantonio, he told us last week that's where he was going to be. Are you in line? Are you waiting to go on Space Mountain or something?
No, I went yesterday. We went to Hollywood Studios yesterday, and shout out to a woman I met named Jennifer who recognized me. She was very nice. We spoke for a little bit. She was very nice. Nice to meet her. But no, it's not nice here at all. Actually, it's raining.
What? It's not?
It's raining and it's like 50 degrees, which here, I don't know, Florida people I don't think know how to drive when it's under 70 degrees. I went to UCF this morning to work out, and one, beautiful facility. Shout out to UCF because it's super nice. But two, the weather is just horrid right now. Not as horrid as where you guys are.
No, it's like 0 degrees here. It's quite unpleasant here.
Yeah, but it's a cool vacation where don't get to see the sun, and I have to wear a sweatshirt.
What? Just out of curiosity, so you say, hey, I'm going to go work out at UCF. Does somebody for the team set that up for you? You fire off a text? How do you get set up with UCF just to go work out there?
Networking. So it actually hits home with the Royals. Lonnie Goldberg, who was our former scouting director. Now I think he's like director of player something, front office with the Royals. He his son went to UCF last year, so I had an easier connection than sometimes. So I asked him how the staff was at UCF because I didn't know any of them, and then he said they're cool, and he got it set up for me.
For what it's worth, Lonnie's official title is Assistant General Manager and Director of Amateur Scouting.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Thanks for clearing that up, Cody. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Cody. That made it way clearer for me.
Well, we're sorry that you're getting bad.
Lonnie drafted me, so I am forever grateful for Lonnie.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Now, you mentioned Hollywood Studios. Are you planning on going to any of the other parks, or was that just kind of what you're doing?
That was it. That was it. Just we do one park a year, so we did that one. Got to do Star Wars stuff, which is very fun, and now we're trying to figure out what to do today in this beautiful weather.
Yeah, everybody says the Star Wars thing is really cool. Like, did you build your own lightsaber? I heard that's like one of the features you got to pay extra for, which I'm sure is no problem, Vinny. But I heard that's what Cody and I were joking.
Don't get into my pocketbook, guys. You don't know what I can't pay for.
Hey, Cody and I during the break were saying, "Man, that lightsaber." I'm like, "Yeah, I think it's an extra like X amount of money." And so we're just curious if you're doing. Like, I would go. We were saying we would be going all out, Vinny. That's all.
Well, I like Star Wars, but I'm not the biggest, I'm not obsessed with it or follow it a super ton. And because of that, I'm not really allowed to have collectibles at my house because I don't do anything with them. My wife would throat punch me immediately if I tried to buy one of those, knowing that I would end up doing nothing with it.
Smart. Sounds like a good woman, Vinny.
Yeah.
Smart. Keep you in line at least. Let's talk about the NFL and what we got last week out of this. Do you view Lamar Jackson as now this storyline that is, well, he's just not going to win in the playoffs because that's where it is? Or are you in the other side of the argument, I guess, that is, hey, some quarterbacks start slow in the playoffs and he's too good to be held down forever?
Yeah, okay, so this is I'm going to have a long-winded answer here. I have a theory about the NFL. Not a theory, but what I would do if I was in charge of a team. There are a few quarterbacks in the league where I would call a GM of another team and I would say, hey, I want your quarterback. I will give you a first-round pick for every unlimited first-round picks until he retires. You can have my first-round pick until this guy retires. Lamar Jackson is in that camp.
Okay.
He could be my quarterback. And somebody had to lose the game the other night, and it just happened to be him. I thought, he made some mistakes. I thought they could have won the game. They didn't. He's a very good player, and I don't think any less of him because of that.
When you look at what Josh Allen has been able to do, and you've seen him obviously in the division as a Jets fan a number of times, what makes him so difficult to stop? We've seen him in Kansas City a lot, but in your minds, what makes Josh Allen such a difficult player to defend?
Well, I think it's the ability to put the ball down and run. That, and he can just launch it over your head. And I think this year the difference for him, obviously he's been in the AFC Championship before, that's not a surprise. But I think the difference is he's not launching the ball and turning it over this year. It seems to be smarter plays. I don't know, right, there's a standard in the NFL that Mahomes is number one. And it doesn't even, people talk about the other things because it would just be boring to say that he's the best quarterback in the league. Josh Allen is probably as close as you can get to that. And I think if the Bills were to go on to win the Super Bowl, you could probably make the argument that he is in that, same sort of tier.
Do you think he'd have a Super Bowl if Patrick Mahomes didn't exist or was in the NFC?
I don't know. I think, man, I don't know. It's easy to it's easy to throw hypotheticals, right? And be like, yeah, of course. But winning's hard, and winning titles is really hard, and it takes I don't want to use the word luck because it doesn't take luck to win, but you need things to go your way.
No question.
Most of that is stuff that you do, right, to make things go your way.
You could have a $400 million payroll. I've heard that helps.
Ooh, boy, that is quite a different topic that I do have some opinions on. Did you see that they signed Kirby Yates?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't know who's going to pitch the ninth inning because they've the fifth inning. A closer is now pitching for them, so that's sick. Yeah, Josh Allen's just really good. Like, and it just comes down to winning is very hard, and the Chiefs just do things the right way. And there's different players other than the quarterback that do things the right way too. So it's like they're firing on all cylinders, and this weekend will be a really, really fun game.
You alluded to it when we were asking about Lamar Jackson, just like, hey, ultimately they had a chance to go tie the game. It's a great drive by Lamar, and the narrative around him might be so different this offseason because, unfortunately, a drop pass there from Mark Andrews. And then you see basically how Mark Andrews is handling this, and I'm sure how devastating that moment is. You know, he didn't speak to the media, and then yesterday I guess they had the locker clean out, and he didn't show up or whatever. Like I know you haven't been playing professional sports for nearly as long as Mark Andrews, but let's peel back the curtain on how difficult is it to handle, I guess, you know, quote unquote failure, or just in that moment where everybody is, you know, just blaming you for something. I just can't imagine being in Mark Andrews' shoes right now.
Well, I'd like to make it clear that I've been playing professional sports 1 year less than he has. Just the minor leagues are professional sports too.
That's true.
True. Fair enough.
That I just needed to make that joke, but it's tough, man. Like, he lives for it. Like, it's what he does. He wakes up in the morning and he thinks about catching footballs. And in the biggest moment, he dropped the ball, and it really, really sucks. Like, it just does. It really, really sucks. And he's going to have a long off season now because of it. And, you know, just as like a human, I hope he finds a way to get over it, get through it, because it's going to suck for a long time. I mean, you feel like not only did you let your teammates down, but you feel like you let the whole city down, like, of what could have been in that game, right? Like, I mean, the Bills could have gone down and scored, and maybe it doesn't matter. But, you know, it did happen, and it effectively, right? I mean, it ended the game. And it really sucks for him, but at the end of the day, like, you got to catch the ball. In that moment, he didn't, and it sucks, but, you know, the Bills are moving on, and it is what it is.
On the NFC side, I guess because of the upset of the Lions, there probably aren't that many people ruling them out, but how good of a chance do you give Jaden Daniels and the Commanders to take down the Eagles in Philadelphia?
Man, he's really good, huh? I mean, Jaden Daniels is a very good player. And here's maybe a hot take for you. Dan Quinn, really good coach. I know he had the Super Bowl thing, but, like, is Dan Quinn, was he maybe underrated as a head coach?
Maybe. I mean, he's gotten to turn around pretty quick in Washington.
I also heard something, though, that I kind of laughed at, is that his analytics guy is the same guy that was in L.A. with Brandon Staley. So, like, they're going for all these fourth downs, and apparently it's, like, the same guy that's doing the math for them.
Interesting.
So, like, I don't know. It feels like you're playing with a little bit of fire when you're going for that many fourth downs. And, like, also, why can't they just score within 3 downs? Like, I feel like these past 2 playoff games, they're just 4th and 3.
Take some 4 downs every time.
Like, why do you keep getting to 4th down? Like, and maybe it's because in the game plan, you know, you're going for 4th down, so maybe you're not being as aggressive. But, like, just get the first down. I say that from my ignorant, you know.
It's like, just use the best play now. Why wait till the end, you know?
Yeah. Hey, it's 3rd and 3. You could just do the good play and just get the first down or the touchdown. Like, I don't know how many times you're going to get it's like always 4th and 3. It's very strange. But they put it in his hands. Like, this is where I go back to the Ravens for a second. It's like this weird, they don't know who to give the ball to, it feels like. Like, we've got our MVP quarterback, but we have Derrick Henry, and it's like they can't decide who's going to take the game over. Where it's like in Washington, it's like, no, Jaden Daniels is going to do it. Like in Kansas City, who's getting the ball on 4th and 2, 4th and 3? You know who's getting the ball, right? Like, they're not running it. And if they run it, it's going to be because the quarterback runs it. Same thing in Buffalo. You know who's getting the ball. Where in Baltimore, it's like, oh, who do we give it to? And in Washington, like, they're really good right now, and they're hot, and there's something to be said for that. And I mean, the Eagles are glad they're playing at home, but they're like, man, we got to play a team that knows us this well. Like, this kind of sucks.
Yeah,
Not that they're scared or by any means, but you know what I mean.
Sure, yeah. Commanders beat them a couple weeks ago on what, the final play from scrimmage, and you know the Commanders are very, very confident. As we're talking to our NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantonio, I'm sure you've seen, it's hard to avoid it at this point, the narrative around the Kansas City Chiefs, and people in Kansas City are just kind of fed up with it. We've called it Chiefs derangement syndrome, and it's caught on all across the country, and not just with fans, but seemingly media members as well. And this idea that things are, rigged for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think there's a balance. We've acknowledged that great players, LeBron, Mahomes, Brady, et cetera, Yeah, they get some calls that go their way, but the conspiracy stuff is just ludicrous.
Well, I think there's a few things. One, like, people are tired of the Chiefs winning, like nationally tired of it, right? Like when you watch sports, and we're all biased, right? Because we see it all the time. And I'll include myself in that because I live in Kansas City half the year. It's like, it's very cool to see them win. But if you're outside of Kansas City, you're so tired of seeing them win. And you see them on primetime all the time, especially, not necessarily during the regular season, but I mean, in the playoffs, right? They're in your face all the time. So you're just kind of tired of seeing them win. And then you see some of these calls and, I don't know how you guys feel about the calls, but like, they're not black and white, right? Like It's not like this is or it isn't. Like there's some judgment there, which is why they have people that judge the games, referees, and people are just tired of seeing that. But it's the same thing with New England. Let's see. I am on Cody Tapp's Twitter right now. Cody, have you announced what you're doing, by the way?
No, so this is actually a great time to mention that I have a song about people complaining about the referees in Kansas City, and I did ask Vinnie to have a cameo in said song. He has declined the offer.
Smart decision.
Vinnie, how close did you get to saying yes? Did you at least consider it?
I at least considered it, but then I was like, you know what? I live in a locker room half the year. The last thing I need is somebody finding that song and playing that song with my vocals in it.
I think it's a smart career decision for you to turn that opportunity down. Yeah, I think that's a smart decision.
Yeah, all right. So people are just tired of it, right? And enjoy this because that's where you want to be, on top of the mountain where people hate your team so much that they're convinced there's a conspiracy for them. That's where you want to be. Like, if we're going to talk about conspiracies, I don't think. This is not a knock to Kansas City at all, by the way, what I'm about to say. I need to preface that. If the NFL could pick who was going to be like the best team, they would be picking a team in New York or LA.
Correct.
No, that's what I agree, totally.
So the Jets would be the best team in the league if there was a conspiracy for that.
And I guess the Rams have at least won a title, so someone in LA.
Nobody cares about LA football teams. I feel like though.
No,
I hate that. I know I just said LA, but
they probably just prefer the Giants and Jets.
I don't know one Chargers fan. I don't know one.
I don't.
No, that's why when we see these opposing teams go to LA or Vegas, add them to the mix as well. There's more away fans. There's the fans don't pack the place. It's it's a visiting home. It's a neutral site almost.
Yeah, but did you guys see Fesco get old takes?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. That was amazing. I almost tweeted at him being like, oh no. Because that's what's really funny is you guys are talking about KC derangement syndrome. You guys had it too back in the day when the Chiefs weren't winning. Is you guys were tired of the freaking Patriots.
Here's the thing. So no doubt was tired of the Patriots, and we all did think Brady got calls. I guess what I take issue with is not hey, great players get the benefit usually from refs. That does happen. I admit that. I think what annoys me is the people that go off the deep end, and it's like, this is a conspiracy, and they're rigging it so the Chiefs can win and all of this. And I'm just like, well, why don't you just bet on the Chiefs to win every single game? You'd be rich if you think it's so rigged.
Yeah, well, according to Cody's Twitter, so I'm in 2016 right now.
Oh, no!
10-16. Well, they blew that call, and now the Chiefs can't make a comeback. Thanks a lot, refs.
Hey, I never said refs don't make a bad call, but yeah, I don't. I usually don't think they decide the final score. Plus, in 16,
something happened in 2017 in December where Travis Kelce threw something at a ref and said something about Foot Locker.
Oh, that was really funny, actually. Travis Kelce said that they didn't deserve to work at Foot Locker.
Okay. Well, do you think he thinks they could deserve to work at Foot Locker now?
Yeah, probably.
After a few Super Bowls?
Yeah, probably. That was also Carl Sheffers. That's a pretty famous one.
I'm scrolling I search your Twitter for
and
just
search
refs.
Yeah.
You have a lot of tweets about the refs, I will say.
This will make the song even better later, Vinny,
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, you're about to make a song talking crap about people talking about the refs. Let's see if you talked crap about the refs.
Of course I have. Everyone doesn't like refs.
We know Fesco has. We know that for sure. That Fesco has said that the refs made the Patriots.
So do you think the Chiefs are winning on Sunday night?
I have no evidence to believe that they're not. And I might be there.
Oh, all right.
I probably won't be there, but I might be. So, and if I am going, not going to tell you. Well, I probably will. I was
going to say, why not? Why can't you tell us?
And I will say, in AFC championships that I am in attendance at. Oh, wait. Oh, 0-1 actually, I think.
Oh, well, then don't show up if that's the case.
I'm trying to remember. I went to the one. Did they play the Bengals in 2 straight AFC championships?
No. Oh, wait. Yeah, they did.
They beat them one time.
Yeah. Oh, I went to the one that they won.
Okay. Okay. Then you're safe. You can come on Sunday.
Okay, because I also went to the Bengals-Bills game where the Bengals beat the Bills. I think that was the same year that the Chiefs beat the Bengals.
Okay. Well, then, yeah.
It was my first. Regardless, the Chiefs have won a Super Bowl every time I do this radio show. So, and I got the tickets because of this radio show. So they had to have won.
Okay.
That's right.
Great.
So,
well, we're looking forward to seeing you on Sunday, maybe.
Not that the Chiefs need any help, but they might have some extra ammo this Sunday.
Well, we'll let you get back to the great weather you're having in Orlando. And
can I just stay on the phone? Can I just finish the show? I'm just kidding.
You want to do another 3 hours on the phone?
Yeah. But I will be in town. I probably should have just texted you this, but I will be in town next Friday. Friday. No, next Friday. Next Friday. Maybe I'll come into the studio.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Okay, but
and then can we, if you promise, maybe we'll give you some. You can read instead of like mean tweets. I want you just to read past Cody tweets on the show in studio. We'll have some ready for you.
I had like a interview I did with Chris Rose go like mini viral yesterday, and people were ripping me for being stupid, which is pretty.
I didn't see this.
Yeah, because I talked about first base, and basically I'm a big dumb idiot who plays first base. Just catch the ball, man. Just catch the ball. And yes, I understand that I haven't been as good as I'd like to be the past 2 years, guys. You don't need to tell me that I suck. I know. Like, jeez. Gosh. But okay, yeah, I'm going to get back to vacation.
All right, man.
You enjoy it, Vinny.
Yeah, all right, good to talk to you.
So that was
too hard on himself, you know?
Vinnie Pasquantonio earlier today. Great time as always talking to Vinny. Maybe he's in studio next week. We shall find out. Tomorrow on the show, we're expecting to have Ross Tucker join us. We'll talk a little bit more about how close Patrick Mahomes is to Brady in another category that maybe hasn't been talked all that much about. No, not just the ring, something else. For now, though, we're going to hand things off to C-Dot and Rob right here on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.